Okay. Hello, everybody. Pop culture curator here. So good to see you. I apologize for running a few minutes late, but I was just wrapping a few things up here on my end. And I know we have some people that have patiently have been waiting in the chat. And I wanted to thank you guys first. It looks like Jill was first to say hello. And hello, Edge of Time. So good to see you. Edge of Time says, hey, Space Cowboys. And Jill says, hey, Edge of Time. Gross. Excuse me. Hello,
How many
Jill.
cover the chat?
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
All right, let me scroll. I said hello to Jill and Edge of Time. Then Edge of Time says hi, Jill, and Edge of Time says hi, random gorilla. Yeah, I am a random gorilla. Totally
Hello.
book called Vanilla Gorilla.
Vanilla Gorilla, that's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing vanilla about me.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
For off the stream. PvP says hi, Jill.
Hello.
Hi, Jill. Again.
And every time the vanilla gorilla carries me back to Barsoom.
Barsoom?
Okay. I don't get that.
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
Literary.
Princesses love it too.
Okay.
And Jill says hi to me and PvP. Edge of Time says hi, PvP.
Hey there, Edge.
Yay, it's the OG. Hello, everyone. The OG says cheers. And Basil
Hello, Oiler Greg.
says hi,
Hello.
Gay.
Hey, Basil, good to see you.
Hello, Basil Battle Dragon.
And apparently OG is coughing. LOL.
I know all about that.
Oh,
Quite understandable.
Yeah, my lungs do enjoy a good cough once in a while.
And I wanted to say a special hello to everybody on the panel. I hope all you guys are doing well. I'm glad you're able to join us tonight. How are you doing, Gorilla?
I'm doing all right. I've been kind of irritated all day, though.
What is that?
The gas station screwed me over.
What?
Yeah, because I just paid my car payment, so I'm very, very limited on money right now. Like, I got to figure out how to make a gallon of gas last me until Wednesday. But
Yeah.
I put $7 in my tank there, but for some reason they charged me $20.
Huh?
Well, did you go back and contest it?
Yeah, did you
I
get a
called them up when I noticed it.
Did you not get a receipt? Like,
yeah, I got the receipt. It said $7 on the receipt, but when I looked at my bank account to see if I had enough to go get some chicken nuggets there,
wow,
it said $20 on
that's
my
messed up.
being taken out of my account.
I'd
course-
actually talk to your bank because sometimes banks do make the occasional error because I've been there once or twice.
Most of the time, it's the gas station. They'll swipe the card twice. But the bad news is, even if they admit it, it takes like 7 to 10 business days to get your money back.
Nah,
Yeah.
they'll fix it right away. I do enough business with them.
You definitely got to go complain to someone there, Gorilla, because
Yeah, I
that's
did.
not right.
They told me to come in tomorrow.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, they should just be able to reverse the charges if they made an error, right? So
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah, it's not cool.
that is not cool.
In a small town like this, they'll fix it right away. Because I not only do I do a lot of business with them, I do a lot of business with them, and even if they didn't, word like that spreads around town fast.
Gorilla's going to be out there on the sidewalk with a sign. Going, these bastards ripped me off. Right, Gorilla?
Hey, now
Just
PvP,
saying.
you're living in the old days. We got Facebook. We got a community group.
Oh yeah, you
on
got the
Facebook.
internet, of course, too.
Yeah. Why stand out in the heat, be waving at these bastards that ripped me off when I could just post a thing on there going, these bastards ripped me off.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Yes, the internet public square.
How are you doing tonight, PvP?
Not too bad. I once again I was lazy this weekend. I didn't get enough done, which I do every weekend. But yeah, I guess I'm doing okay. Yeah. Well, I got I bought some groceries yesterday, so I guess that's good.
Oh yeah, very cool. That always helps.
Yeah, if I remember to actually cook them and eat them, that's the problem. I put them in the fridge and then I don't get around to actually eating the darn thing. So well,
Oh, that's not good.
I'm a bachelor. What can I say?
And Jill, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I didn't get ripped off at the gas station, so I'm very happy about that. And
And hopefully your food
I
didn't
hope,
spoil.
hopefully, yeah, no, not yet. And I hope Gorilla gets his money back.
Well,
No, I'm
not
ready to talk.
then. If not, they're gonna lose a lot of money on monsters and breakfast sandwiches.
Oh, you
I
don't
know
want
what
that
it's
to
like.
happen.
Yeah, I know what it's like though when you're getting down in your funds and you've got to count your pennies, and if you get something like what happened to Gorilla, it's pretty aggravating, right? Because you're like, counting every dollar to make it last for the next, half a week or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I've been there a few times. I'll say that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not good.
Mm.
And I know today this is Monday, our usual Lost in Space night, but I wanted to pay tribute to the fantastic and great director William Friedkin passed away today.
Oh shit.
And yeah, we were just talking about him on my stream last Tuesday. He directed the impeccable movie The Exorcist. In fact, we had that conversation recently that should anybody even try remaking The Exorcist, and we all agreed no, because The Exorcist is 100% perfect and it cannot be outdone. And now it's going to make the remakes that are coming out look even worse.
Wow.
But yeah, he made that amongst like this, also a movie called Sorcerer, a fantastic movie where they're hauling dynamite across
Yeah, I
rough
remember
terrain.
that film. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, he was a
That
great
was
director.
that was based on originally on a French film, was it not?
Yes, which I have that on my server. I have the
Yeah,
original, which is in black and white, which is a French. I think it's French. Yeah, Dutch or
I'm pretty
French.
sure. I've seen Sorcerer, but I've never seen the original film, which I really would like to watch someday. I can't even remember. Oh, was it the? Oh man, the title's right there. You know when you got the title right in your head and you just can't think of it, what it actually is. Ugh. Oh well. But yeah, it's a French film, I know, but I can't remember the damn title of it. Wages of Fear or something, or
Well, I will look it up. But yeah,
anyway,
he
no
made
big.
a lot of good movies, and his movies are very memorable.
Yeah, jeez, wow.
To me, didn't mention, but he passed away at the age of 87 today. And he
That's a
was a
pretty
great
good age, I
influence on
guess.
many directors. Yes.
We've been losing a lot of giants in the last few years, haven't we, guys?
Yes, they definitely will not be able to replace somebody like him. We'll never get. I mean, like I said, The Exorcist. There's nobody that can be outdone. Considering it was the early '70s, and today with all the CGI, knowing that they still cannot outdo it, it's like no, it's pathetic.
Yeah, practical effects. I think they still rule for myself anyway. I was actually just talking about that on Mikey's stream. Someone on there was saying how great CGI was, and basically the
Oh,
rest of us were going, "Nope, it
well,
ain't."
they were probably young,
Yeah,
young
they
people.
were, and then I mentioned Ray Harryhausen, and people were like, "Oh yeah, that's good. Now that's quality, right?" When I mentioned Jason and the Argonauts, it's like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
younger kids are not going to probably know what that is or
yeah,
where Ray Harryhausen.
yeah, that's about it, right?" Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, I do recommend look up William Friedkin on the Internet Movie Database and check out any movies that he made. There are no disappointments. Everything he did was fantastic. He was a very unique director. He reminds me of Stanley Kubrick. He was very unique. He had a style that cannot be replaced or duplicated, even though people tried. I mean, look how many Exorcist ripoffs we've had over the years, and none of them even come close. So I highly recommend that, and I think I'll push it forward because I had planned on covering The Exorcist eventually on our horror stream, but I think I'm going to try to make it sooner than later. So tonight we are covering Lost in Space, of course. We're on season 1, episode 16. And tonight we're going to be covering the episode The Keeper, part 1, which originally broadcast on January 12th of 1966. And the description goes as follows: the keeper is an alien who travels the galaxy collecting living pairs of interesting or rare animals. His courtly overtures towards the Robinsons belie his true intention to add a pair of humans to his incredible menagerie. And of course, it stars, for all of us sci fi fans, it stars the impeccable, incredible Michael Rennie, who starred in The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is another big sci fi classic. Speaking of sci fi classic, we're going to try to do Metropolis tomorrow. And if you haven't had a chance to catch up on it, please do. It's just recently been restored. It's kind of a lengthy film. It's over 2.5 hours long, the restored version. But there is a link in my community tab where you can watch it. And I do encourage you, if you can. I'm starting my chemotherapy tomorrow. But I'm hoping to have the energy to do the stream. My chemotherapy is scheduled for me. I'll be in there from about noon to 2 to 3 p.m. And the stream is at 6 p.m. I'm hoping to fairly recover by then because I don't want to miss it. I've missed too many streams in the past couple months.
Yeah,
and I don't want to disappoint.
Yeah, hopefully it'll happen because I actually finally I actually watched it in a couple of started watching it on Saturday and I finished it, or actually last night on Sunday, and I finished it today. And wow, what a film it is! It's an incredible film. Like, I'd forgotten, I hadn't watched it in probably 20 years. I'd forgotten how amazing it is, but it is a cinematic milestone and an absolute masterpiece, not just in science fiction, but in cinema in general, I would say. So
Yes,
yeah.
and for anybody who has said, if there's anybody out there that says, well, I know, I've seen it, I saw that years ago when I was a kid, or I saw it in film school, you need to see the new version that's been remastered because there was a lot of lost footage. Almost an hour has been added that was originally cut. So it's almost a completely different movie now. So I recommend you please try to watch the new version.
Yeah, I actually clicked on your link and watched it on the link you provided, Pop. And it was the restored version, which is around 128, 129 minutes. So it's basically 2.5 hours, right? And
Yes.
what I really liked is when they restored it, they added the lost footage in, but they didn't like digitally clean it up so you can tell, there's a
Yes.
graininess to the recently discovered elements like 10 years ago. So I
Right.
really appreciate that they didn't try to they actually left it so the viewer could say, oh, that's the scene that they added, that's the scene that they found, right?
Correct.
And it's
Yes.
really good, it's really well done. So yeah.
If I do have a chance, I will watch it and see if I can make the
Oh,
stream or
please,
not. Because of course I have my Star Trek streams. So
please do, Joe.
after that, I
Jill,
gotta do some stuff with my kids, and
you
then
won't be
I don't know.
disappointed, Jill.
I'll try.
And speaking of your Star Trek stream, what episode are we covering tomorrow, Jim? Oh,
Right.
I'll be in the hospital because my ride was to pick me up at 10:30 my time. But
I
I'll
understand.
try to be in the chat. I'll try to be in the chat if I can get a good signal.
Mm-hmm.
What
Okay.
episode is it tomorrow, Jill?
Gamesters of Triskelion.
Oh
Oh my
God.
god, they're my favorites.
Oh, it
That's
is.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no,
that's
it's
not
okay. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, I think Angelique Pettyjohn was the first Star Trek TOS cast member that I met at my very first Star Trek convention.
I met her too
Yeah.
once, actually.
Did she wear the suit and the costume and all that?
Well, she did and she didn't. Let's put it that way. This was like probably early 80s when I was in my 20. I was around 24. So I can't remember when that was. Anyways, like late 70s, early 80s, whatever. Probably very early 80s. And, my friend and I used to go down to the local, pub, and they had strippers, right? So we go in and we get a beer and we sit down. And then we realize the woman that comes out on stage, decked out in her Star Trek costume, she's got the whole lance, the spear, and the whole
Right.
get up, right?
The
And
silver
it's like,
bikini.
we're sitting there, our jaws drop to the floor, and we're like, do you know who that is? It's like, it's the chick from Triskelion, and we're just like in awe, right? Because like she's doing the whole dance, and then she eventually starts stripping, and we're even more in awe at that point, because it's like, oh my God, she's still beautiful, and oh, I'll never forget that day.
Wow.
And she was the sweetest lady too.
Yeah.
because after she finished her performance, so to put it, we went up and actually, talked to her, and she was selling posters for like $5 a piece,
Yes.
and she had the fully clothed version, in her Triskelion costume, and then she had the nude version. Of course, me and my buddy, being a couple of perverts, we got the nude version, of course.
I bought both. I bought both of them.
And she signed them. Like, she signed them. She was so gracious. She was so lovely. We chatted maybe for 5 minutes with her, asked her about what it was like working with Shatner and all that stuff. And she was just a really lovely, lovely lady, I gotta say it.
Well, this is some great information for me.
Oh, it's a great
Thank
honor
you.
to meet. She was a beautiful woman. She really was. Beautiful in every way. So, yeah.
Right. I met her also in the 80s, and I would say she looked identical like she did in
Yes.
TOS.
Yes.
Hey,
She hadn't
Gorilla.
aged. She
Hey,
hadn't aged
Captain
at all.
Kennedy.
Hello,
How are
Captain.
you?
Yeah.
Great here.
Hey,
Good
Captain.
to see you, sir.
Oh, hello. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Nice Pee-wee
Hello.
avatar there, man.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
a
another-
coincidence. I've had it for months.
Another tribute.
Yeah.
No, just a coincidence.
All right.
Okay.
Should we catch up on chat here real quick while we get
Yeah,
ready to
yeah.
start?
Thank you,
Sure.
Gorilla.
Oh,
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, okay. Let's get straight to the chat then.
Or nothing without the chant.
Yeah, OG says, hey,
What's wrong with that, kid?
Basil. OG in the house. Basil says, hi, OG. Edgy Time says, hey, hi, Greg at Battle Dragon. OG says, pick CC Edge. Or, hi, Edge. No, deprived of tasty nuggets. Oh, I guarantee it. Here's the tip when you guys go through a drive-through. Either slightly change the order from what's on the actual menu there, or ask them to make them fresh for you, because they were cold and stale when I got them.
That's no good.
Yeah. Grill Sizer says, we'll work for nuggets. Not the ones I had. Edge of Time says, I hate it when I run out of good boy points. No tendies. No nuggies. No nuggies. And here's
Funnily, the best nuggets in my town are at a Mexican restaurant.
I'll go figure. And Stream Elements says Oiler Greg's link to his channel for spoiler-free reviews. Captain Finity gives us some popcorn. Edge of Time says, hi, Captain. Captain says, after a year of waiting. Sorcerer, OG says, Sorcerer is a good movie. Finity says, is that waving or is that something at Edge of Time?
Hands
it's
up in
waving.
there.
Okay.
Or plotting.
Captain says 2.0 version of Back to Which Future is about ready. Here is Jill's channel for TOS, and what's this Friday? Is it going to be tea time?
Master and Commander this Friday.
Master. Oh, I remember that movie there. No, wait, no. I remember I went to go put on Master Commander, but it's the wrong the wrong movie for that link that I was given, and basically it's about I got some movie with some African tribe there, and there's a bunch of naked ladies dancing, so I didn't bother changing it.
There are no women in Master and Commander.
There was no naked black ladies in the movie I watched.
Well, there wasn't the one I watched.
It might have been better if there were, though, actually, to be honest. Well, I'll say no more.
Yeah,
Well, the sailors themselves agree with you, PvP. They were disappointed they couldn't find any.
I really tried so much to love that movie when I watched it with you yesterday, Jill. But
Well, we'll talk
I
more
don't
about
know.
it on Friday.
yeah, I just couldn't get into it. I don't know why. It just didn't float my boat, and that's a very bad pun. Sorry,
all right,
that's
Captain.
a failing
I
pun.
think it's amazing. It's basically Star Trek.
All right, Captain 50 said part 1 is about to go up.
Part 1 is
will
about to
directly-
go up.
I will be directly facing Scotty and Teagues. You could do anything. I will do anything for time travel, but I won't. But I will do anything for time travel, but I won't do that.
I won't do that, Scotty. There's one thing I won't do, Teague.
That's a very, very nice Meatloaf reference. I got to applaud that one.
Isn't it? I think Meatloaf would agree. I'll do anything for time travel, but I won't do that. Just one thing. Because they keep, you can do anything, Captain. Oh, it's like doing your tax returns. Oh, shut up, Captain. Just
But
one thing.
notice that they
I'm
never.
not saying just one thing, and then after that, you're fine. You can do anything you like. Relax.
Yeah, I always love a bit of good meatloaf. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, notice that he never
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
mentions what he won't do.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't do malleable timelines. Jill will tell you they don't make any sense.
And OG says,
Oh my
cool,
god.
Captain. Captain says, worry not, I'll be there. Basil says, it's another beautiful 101-degree day here in H-Town, where
Oh,
yeah.
real nice.
the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when you need him. LOL. Well, oh, it's actually
Kukulkan.
Kukulkan.
Kukulkan. Yeah, Kukulkan from
Yeah.
the animated series Star Trek episode.
No,
I
I
remember
remember that one.
the Rush.
Because I couldn't pronounce it, and my kid couldn't pronounce it. My kid pronounced it cuckoo, and then I was like, for Cocoa Puffs. So
Well,
we
I
called
remember
it
the
Cuckoo
Rush
for Cocoa
I
song
go
where they
cuckoo
had
for Kublai
Kukulkan
Khan.
in the lyrics. So yeah.
And hey, Jim. Jim
Hey,
says
Jim.
hello.
Hello, Jim. Good to see
Hello.
you.
Jim.
I about
Hi,
put him
Jim.
in timeout
Hey.
by accident. But
Hey, Jim.
all right, that's the last of the chats there.
Okay. So this is the assessment of tonight's episode. The Keeper Part 1 would be a worthwhile Lost in Space episode, even if Michael Rennie were not playing the title character. But Rennie's appearance here, partly because of his impeccable performance, partly because he had played Klaatu in The Day the Earth Stood Still, helps this episode score as one of the series' best. Beyond what Rennie brings to the party, the story certainly delivers the goods, as do the performances of many in the regular cast, all of whom are given their moments in the script. The score, some of it lifted from The Day the Earth Stood Still, adds to the overall effect, as does Gene Polito's excellent black and white photography. The Twilight Zone had done a story about humans put on display in an alien zoo with the 1960 episode People Are Alike All Over, starring Roddy McDowall. The episode was based on Paul W. Fairman's Brothers Beyond the Void, first published in the March 1952 issue of Fantastic Adventures. Another famous story featuring humans put into cages for the purpose of amusing their alien captors was 1964's The Cage, the original pilot for Star Trek. Although Lost in Space was not likely borrowing from that. The Cage reworked as a two-part menagerie wouldn't air until later in 66. The Keeper was new enough territory on television in the first days of 66 and certainly edgy with children being sought as the animals put on display. Regardless, The Keeper, Part 1, is flawed in several minor ways. The production seems a bit rushed in comparison to the episodes that preceded it, and for good reason. Director Sophie Martin, not the best of the series directors, was under pressure to get back on schedule after falling behind. Note that there are very few, quote, dirty singles, which are over-the-shoulder shots. Sophie's work here is what people in the entertainment industry call cookie-cutter direction, utilizing an establishing shot and immediately going in for isolated singles in two shots, a means of speeding along the filming process as well as simplifying the editing. Missing are the effective but time-consuming crane and dolly tracking shots that we had seen in previous episodes under the guidance of the directors. Also indicative of a hurried production with an inattentive director are some of their performances which appear rushed. This has no doubt happened as a result of Martin telling cast members where to stand, when to speak, but giving them little if no guidance beyond that, and then trying to get everything in one take. Watch Angela Cartwright when Penny is under a trance, both on the Jupiter 2 and outdoors, as she and Billy Mooney approach the Keeper's ship. Cartwright is clearly trying not to smile, smirking like this is something a talented child actor such as Cartwright might do in a walkthrough rehearsal, but certainly not for what would be deemed a usable take. Yet Martin did use this take and then moved on. Beyond this, the establishing shot of the Keeper's immense space arc is immediately identifiable as an illustration over a location still photo. These trifling flaws aside, The Keeper Part 1 will have you eager to see its conclusion, and isn't that the best compliment one can give? So, this episode was written by Barney Slater, with script polishing by Anthony Wilson, directed by Sophie Martin, and produced by Irwin Allen with Jerry Briskin.
Those were interesting production notes because I didn't notice any problems with the production or the acting.
You didn't notice Penny smirking?
Not at
Which,
the
which scene
time.
was
Now I
that?
just can't unsee it.
Well, we'll see.
Uh,
You believe now that I've mentioned it, you guys will definitely notice.
It
But I
didn't bother
noticed
me.
it.
Exactly.
Whatever it was, it didn't bother me in the instance.
it's been a couple of weeks at least since I watched this because we didn't do Lost in Space last week, right? So I guess I'm kind of forgetting that bit if she did smirk. So, but yeah, I'm with Jill. I didn't see anything in the episode overly annoying. Personally, I thought it
Well,
was
what
a
it is,
fine episode.
it's such a good episode. It's really hard to notice the bad spots in it.
Well,
The
Michael
person,
Rennie
right? The
is so
person that
good.
wrote this book is being very, very picky, I guess you could say.
Oh,
Because,
that's
like
all
like
right.
No, it's
I still enjoy the episode.
I
Even though,
don't
yeah,
no,
mind
it
it's
has a
very
few flaws.
if the book wants to pick something out. I don't have a problem with the book, but
book has very good information about the
yeah, it's great.
production that we wouldn't know otherwise. So I do enjoy it for that.
Yeah, it's a great book so far. Every time you've read out of it when we've been doing the Monday streams, so
Yeah, that's
It's
why I
like a
felt bad. There were a
smirking
couple.
diary.
I know there were a couple streams where I missed reading from the book, and I feel bad. I did the same thing with Gilligan's Island. I missed a few streams without the book, and I'm going to get back to including that in every stream.
I thought it was a very solid episode, though, personally. So
And we
Michael
should be
Rennie,
getting our first clip. Go
there we
ahead.
go. You can't go wrong with Michael Rennie, though. The guy is such a damn fine actor. You know, to me, he really elevates the episode. You know, totally.
Yes. And we start out with Dr. Smith and Will, supposed to dig a trench, but of course, Dr. Smith assigns the robot to the task. And then, just as he hears Professor Robinson and Don coming along, he grabs the shovel so that it appears that he's doing all the work.
Yeah, he's such a faker.
But I like the fact that Will does
Speaking of fake,
call him out on that.
hey Gorilla,
Yeah,
you know that big shiny metal dude?
yeah, the robot.
I'm not convinced he's human. I think he might be a replicant. Run the machine on him.
Run the machine on him. Scan
You
him.
need to get your eyes checked there, Captain.
Just an instinct, Gorilla. It's just an instinct.
This is pretty funny. Smith is Smith like really feeble-minded or something because he's like under a trance and you know.
Well, the keeper mentions that in a little bit. He says that what he does is he sends out a signal calling for creatures, and he does say that it's more the signal is stronger for the simple-minded, pretty much.
Well, yeah, because
More quaaludes.
Will's not
More
affected at all,
quaaludes.
right? Which is
Correct.
great.
This was Barry Slater's third Lost in Space assignment, following Wish Upon a Star and a rewrite of The Sky is Falling. It was originally supposed to be a single episode called Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Yet Irwin Allen and Tony Wilson were so pleased by the script Slater turned in when the series received its mid-season pickup from CBS. They asked him to extend the story into a second script, utilizing the same guest star, the same alien space arc, and most of the same monsters. Turning Twinkle Twinkle Little Star into a two-parter would also save the series money, which was vital at this stage of the first season since all of the 15 episodes produced up to this time had exceeded their budgets. It also allowed the producers and their staffs to get the first episode of the CBS back order of 12 into production quickly, while more scripts were being prepared to fill out the rest of the season.
I love how much joy Don gets in seeing Smith is drawn to this page.
Yeah, I was just noticing that myself. Boy, he's got quite a grin going there, doesn't he?
Which is funny because it's right, because they always had a little angst going between the two.
Yeah.
And Dr. Smith, all that does is make Dr. Smith even more annoyed.
I think Don would like to keep Smith in the cage permanently if he had his way.
Hey, welcome, Mad Scientist. Welcome, Scurvy.
Hello, Lemon Pie. Hello, Matt Scientist.
Hey,
Good to
Lemon.
see you all. I'm glad you guys could join us.
Yeah, hello to Lemon and Mad Scientist.
Yeah, hi guys.
So Professor Robinson doesn't seem to be too alarmed. And he immediately realizes that all he has to do is wave his hand in front of the control of the cage and open it up. And he asks Will, I know we kind of rushed through it a little bit, but there was a monster that went into a second cage, and that cage disappeared before Professor Robinson and Dawn arrived on the scene. So Professor Robinson was confirming with Will that there was a total of 3 cages originally.
There
Yeah,
it
you
is.
don't get to see. Yeah, there's a monster.
We got
It's a
to see the
monster.
face, but you must not have captured the face.
Oh yeah, I got the face, but it was before the
Started.
credits.
Wow.
It was when he was approaching Doctor. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go.
So that's
Oh.
like a cyclops kind of thingy.
I
Looks
guess
No,
like
it has
so.
2 eyes. Beautiful creature, just a
Well, I guess it has
beautiful
2 eyes, but wow, that's a weird
beautiful,
looking thing.
magnificent creature.
You sound like Worf when he meets those fish aliens and he says handsome.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, I do like the creatures in season 1 of Lost in Space in particular because they are quite inventive, actually.
Hey, what's funny too is since the plot of this is the keeper going around the galaxy collecting all these different specimens, we get to see pretty much all the aliens that have been introduced in the series up to this point.
That's true. Yeah, at the end of the episode, right, we get to see a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
Hmm.
And they see that left behind is a smaller cage with a reptile inside. And of course, Dr. Smith.
Wanadon.
Wanadon, yes. And Dr. Smith is exaggerating the situation and paranoid. And of course, they're making light of it and laughing at him. And they left it up to the robot to examine the specimen in the cage. And without their knowledge, the robot brought the cage to the Jupiter 2, which they weren't expecting. And
He's
they
starting to
basically
have
said,
will of his own, making his own decisions.
yes. Because they asked him, why did you bring it? And he basically said, well, you didn't tell me not to.
Starting to develop his own emotional responses.
That sounds familiar.
Gradually.
The robot does definitely grow as a character as the series progresses, so
Yeah.
that's very, very true.
And he also gets more lines, which I like, because the robot
Oh, yeah.
is my favorite character.
Definitely. Oh, the
Especially
robot's
between
great.
him and Smith, yes.
Hey, now why exactly did it bring you back? You just said like you never told me not to. But I don't think did they ever say why he brought it back.
He was instructed to determine what is going on. And in
For
order to do
shits
that,
and
he
giggles.
decided to bring the whole thing to them. So everyone can inspect it.
And also script-wise, to bring the keeper to them.
Good point. Yeah.
All right, we gotta catch up on chat because I want to just.
So there's the in-universe reason and the production reason.
Yes. Thank you, Gorilla.
All right, so dang it, why the hell is it scrolling on me? Stop.
I like these cages because they can change based on whatever is being captured.
I agree.
Yeah. Here's a Puppies That Play video from Jim, and Jim says, "Hail oil." Scurvy says, "Howdy, folks." Bazel says, "Hi there, Scurvy." Scurvy says, "Captain, would you do anything for love?" But he won't do that. What is it he won't do? Seriously,
Manimal, I'll pay attention. We've been doing this for 3 years. I won't allow a situation where the time traveler prevents their own birth because that's just dumb. I'll do anything for time travel, Gorilla, but I won't do that.
Well, you don't want the grandma
on.
paradox?
Yeah, exactly. I've solved it, and I won't do that. Is the answer? It's a look. I've done the video. It's over. The discussion is over. We're done. So yay!
But magic
happy.
replicator
So,
stabs, they're okay.
Yeah. Scurvy says hello to Basil. Matt Seth says hi, Pop and Hot All.
Good to see you.
there.
Scurvy says hello to Pop Gorilla, Jill, PvP,
Lemon
and Captain.
pie.
Hey, Lemon.
And Scurvy says, "How did you guys get footage of me when I haven't shaved for 3 days?" What? Well, Scurvy,
Everything on
don't leave your
screen.
house unlocked. I won't put the I won't put the cameras in.
Oh my God.
That thing's hairier than a German girl's armpits.
And by the way, the name of that monster.
Oh, it had a name?
Yes, the animal monster.
Was it Frank?
No, it says animal monster here according to the notes.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Oh,
So we
so
have
not a real name.
determined it was an
Right.
animal monster. Okay.
One admirable aspect of the episodes produced thus far was that Lost in Space creative staff were making efforts to explain something that even a more realistic science fiction like Star Trek would not. Namely, how aliens spoke English. So the bubble creatures in the derelict did not speak, nor did the giant, and there were giants in the earth. Penny taught English to Mr. Nobody. The invader from the fifth dimension explained how they had learned the language. The alien colonists in the skies falling were mute. The creature in Wish Upon a Star moaned a lot, and the creature in one of our dogs missing just growled and howled. Now with this script, the keeper tells us, you would like to know how I learned to speak your language. Is that correct? Your planet has been communicating to its astronauts for years. I simply recorded the speech patterns and broke down the words phonetically.
Yeah, that is kind of funny that he was specifically eavesdropping on humanity and just so happened to learn English. That's pretty cool that they actually explain it like that.
I agree. I'm glad that you explain it. And it's true, Star Trek does it. Everybody speaks English in Star Trek.
Well,
Until
they
we meet the Gorn, I guess.
They have the universal translator.
Right, which isn't introduced until we get Arena, right?
Right. So they take a while to explain it.
well,
And I'm not knocking Star Trek because everybody knows I love Star Trek. So
yeah. Well,
I'm
the
not-
Rita one, that was an alien universal translator, I thought.
in Arena,
Yeah.
it was. That's why it's called a universal translator. It's supposed to be for any language.
No, but I thought it was the Meridian. What that one group that was getting them both to fight. I thought that was their universal translator.
Metrons.
Metrons.
Oh, you're still. Oh, okay. So you're thinking that the Metrons supplied them with the universal translator?
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
I think it was a Starfleet issue device, wasn't it, Jill?
Yeah, that's what I thought, but Gorilla could be correct.
I'm googling it.
That's a good question. I hadn't thought of.
I thought it was theirs. I thought that the Gorn had their own device, and we did too. So they both had one.
I always just assumed it was the Federation had some kind of universal translator that they issued to all the crew members, right? Not sure how they did it, whether it was an implant or maybe something they injected. I don't know. I remember Farscape where Crichton in the first episode got injected with microbes or something so he could understand all the various alien languages. So most sci-fi shows do kind of cover it in one way or another.
Yes.
Crichton, a smeghead, sir. A smee.
And I wanted to
Smee.
highlight Jonathan
Smeghead,
Harris.
sir.
Jonathan Harris, what he brought to the opening scene. It says, for the most part, the opening scene where Dr. Smith is in a trance was mostly written as dramatic and does not delineate the flamboyant Smith who was brought to life in the viewed version. In fact, examination of the shooting script gives evidence of the ways Jonathan was taking liberty in altering his character. One example is in the teaser. Harris hams it up when Smith is first cast under a spell. Harris did more than stiffen and take on a dazed expression, is what it said in the script. The look on Smith's face is full-out comedy. Harris went beyond having his voice sound distant when he said, "Out of the way, I am being summoned," and then exited the scene. His line delivery leaned towards farce, and while the script merely said that Smith moves out of the scene, Harris decided to extend his arm straight out ahead of himself in a comedy take on Sleepwalker. Billy Mooney and Angela Carbide did not do this when they were walking in a trance-like state. With these changes, a scene that was written with a tone leaning towards serious drama became one of silly comedy. Moments later, Smith is in the cage and tormented by the animal monster. His arms are still stiffly extended out until he snaps out of his trance, and then as he sees the monster, he screams hysterically. His second time in the series, following the piercing scream in The Raft, which was also not in the script. Again, here the script gives no indication of comedy. So once more, we're
Seems to
getting
be.
influence of Jonathan Harris into the character.
It looks like oh, it looks like
Oh
the
my.
device was given by the Metrons to
Ooh,
Kirk and the Gorn.
good point, Gorilla.
Yeah.
Hey, here we got 3 chats here, real quick.
Thank you, sir.
Jim said, "Hail the limit, scurvy and mad scientist." And Matt G is in the house. He says,
Hello, Matt G.
"TARDIS has a
But
great universal
gee.
translator." Hey, Matt, you're slacking. We didn't get our Jill. And Jim said, "Federation had UT and started on Enterprise's
It.
ocean."
I think he means had it, the universal translator.
Yes, exactly. So since Enterprise had the universal translator,
Yeah.
then you know that it had to have been perfected by the time we get to TOS.
And we
You
do
know,
have
like a
to accept.
Babel fish. Or if you
I guess
like
we have to
Babel
accept
fish.
Enterprises. We have to accept Enterprises canon, right?
A
Yes,
Babel
we do.
fish.
We have to.
Okay.
Well, at this point, wouldn't you just want it 66 to 05 and just leave it
Yeah.
there?
And
Be happy with it.
and it didn't. I just looked it up. It did not explicitly state whose it was in Arena. So it could have been Starfleet. It could have been the Metrons.
Interesting, because it seems like the Metrons are so far advanced. It seems like a very primitive device. That's why I always thought it was Starfleet, but I could be wrong. Because it seems like the Metrons would have supplied the universal translator. They would have had to use it to communicate with Kirk at the very ending of the episode.
Well, since we're so unsure, probably what Grill is saying in the fact that we don't know precisely where it came from
Yeah,
is probably the right answer.
But also, they got beamed off the ship so fast that I couldn't see Kirk grabbing one real quick.
Well, he definitely did not grab one.
Yeah.
And I'd have to watch it again to find out if the scene where it does appear, if they mentioned it at all. I guess I didn't pay attention when we covered that on Jill's stream. Shame
Well,
on me
for some
that.
reason in my notes, I say the recording translating device Kirk and the Gorn were given later appeared in Metamorphosis as a universal translator. So
Maybe they got it from the Metrons and then reverse engineered it.
that's possible, but it could have also just been Federation technology all along. Who knows? But the fact that the Gorn had one too says it was the Metrons.
Yes. Right, because
The
Kirk
Gorn
was
is
not originally.
some unthinking creature. He's the captain of his own ship.
Right, because Kirk's original intention was not to communicate with the Gorn. It was supposed to be a hand-to-hand combat with the last survivor winning. So then you would think it would be put out by the Metrons. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Back to Lost in Space.
No, that was a
No,
good
by the way-
tangent. I'm still questioning it. I'm gonna go look into it deeper later.
I'm sure there's some Star Trek fans out there that can give us an answer. It's funny how an
By the
old
way,
show like that,
speaking-
we always have something to learn. There's always something new to learn.
Well, that's because these shows had such a great depth in a lot of the writing, right? So there's always something we discover and explore as we rewatch them over the years. So.
I agree. And here's the scene that I was referring to a few minutes ago, where he explained to them how he knows English and that he's been pretty much monitoring Earth for a long time.
And he can also read the minds of children.
Yes,
Kind of creepy.
but not adults. He said they're much more complicated. But of course he can influence Smiths, which indicates Smiths is a little more simpler minded than the other adults.
Strangely, I can read the
Exactly.
mind of Scotty R37. Boy, tough
Which is
crowd.
what that's what the
But only when
that's
he's
what the
drunk.
keeper says here. The cage belongs to me. The robot brought your cage here by mistake, says Professor Robinson.
Because he can only read the mind of children, so I thought it was pretty good. He can read. No. Okay, I've got to go. I'm going to add. I'll do anything for time travel onto my video. You've all been inspiration. Thank you.
Okay,
I must go.
thank you.
Yeah,
Check
that
out my
was pretty good.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you
thank
for
you.
that. I'm going to edit the
Thank
video
you for
right now.
visiting us, Captain. Thank you for stopping by.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. One to beam down. Cheers.
Thank
Night
you.
cap.
See you soon.
Bye.
I would say I'll show up on your stream tonight, but I've got a lot to watch. So I've got to catch up. Even though I may not make it to Jill's stream tomorrow, I still want to watch the Game Series of Triskelion, and I've got to finish watching Metropolis.
Oh, Metropolis
Well,
is
I
so good.
appreciate that.
Man, I couldn't
That you
believe how
be in the
good it
chat.
was when I watched it this afternoon. I'd forgotten how brilliant a film it is.
Well, I have a feeling I'll be waiting in the waiting room tomorrow during her stream, so I'm going to try to say hello from the chat while I'm in the waiting room.
What time? You're on what, 6 or 7 tomorrow Pacific?
Oh, me will be 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay. I'll be a
But
little
for-
late. I'll probably be in around 7:30 my time then, so I'll probably
Okay.
pop in about 90 minutes after the stream starts. But it's such a long film, I'm sure you'll still be going for a while.
Right.
when
But I will
get
try
there,
to,
so-
well, and I don't want to discourage anybody from being there tomorrow night. I will try to get through it as quick as I can. I'm going to try to avoid making it a 4 or 5 hour stream. So we will get to the movie as quick as I can.
Okay. Well, hopefully I'll still be on for the last part.
Oh yeah, you'll be. Yeah, there'll still be plenty left by the time you get there.
Yeah, I would hope. Yeah.
And of course, we have the very highly suspicious Dr. Smith. And what's funny about this is Dr. Smith knows that the keeper has full influence over him, which basically scares the crap out of him.
Well, yeah, but everybody's recognizing the arrogance of this keeper.
Yes. Which makes sense because he's far superior than them, and he's supposedly several hundreds of years old. So he's going to have that arrogance. He looks at them like they're inferior, I'm guessing, like pets.
One thing I found interesting about the keeper as a character is he comes across as very benevolent and friendly at times in some scenes of the episode, like he actually wants to befriend the family, and earn their trust. And then other times he comes across like a really arrogant jerk that just wants to like dominate them. And
I think the reason why is because, as he explains, he has no control over the adults. So I think that's why he's being deceitful. He can control the kids, but not the adults.
That's a good word I would use for the keeper. He is definitely deceitful.
Right. So he seems very nice at first.
Well, the thing is, as a character, it's not like he's really evil or anything. It's not like he's bad by nature, but he's got his mission, I guess, as the keeper, accumulating, species.
Well, he's like he's like a zookeeper. He has nothing intentional against any of the animals. He just wants to collect them.
Yeah, he's got no real malice against the Robinsons. He just sees them as specimens, basically. Yes. From what I drew watching it anyway.
And here we have him speaking to somebody from, we're assuming, his home planet. And he's informing them about the Robinsons and that he would like to get a couple samples of humans from Earth. I got to make sure I keep up with the book here so we don't miss too much.
I like how they say hello in this alien species. You wish to communicate?
Which is a silly question because the guy would be like, "Well, else do you think I'm here?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I kind of prefer just saying hi. That
Me
seems
too.
to be that's more brief and to the point. Oh boy. I do, I really like the beards in this episode are pretty cool, I gotta say.
Here's an interview.
Good facial hair.
Yes, here's an interview. Jonathan Harris told interviewer William E. Anchors Jr. He says, "When I heard that we were going to do The Keeper, I was quite ecstatic. Macaroni and I hadn't worked together since The Third Man.
Wow.
Well, it was quite a scene when he appeared. 2 grown men hugging and kissing and screaming and howling. He was a marvelous, absolutely wonderful man. By the time they stopped, and perhaps because of the kissing and hugging and screaming and howling, Sophie Martin had fallen to 3/4 of a day behind. And while this episode was being filmed, The episode Attack of the Monster Plants premiered on CBS this very night. So that shows you they were just a few weeks behind. Because the Monster Plants was just 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? As far as the timeline.
I think about maybe 3 episodes back or something.
Yeah, so that's like 2 or 3 weeks at the most.
Yeah.
So they were cutting it close. They were doing their editing and post effects right up to the very end.
Well, it's like when Star Trek did the menagerie, reusing a lot of the cage footage, right? Because they were kind of falling behind, and they had to catch up and save their butts, so to speak. So they came up with a great idea to do a 2-parter, which also coincidentally this is a 2-parter as well. So it's like, yeah, it does help the budget and the time, right?
Well, yeah, and like they said in the book, it was an excellent decision because they already had Michael Rennie, who is one of the standouts of the best guest stars they ever had on the whole entire series. So I thought that was a genius move.
Yeah, I say Rennie's probably one of the most prestigious actors that ever appeared on Lost in Space, because, I mean, this guy is like A-class actor, right? Like, he's top
Yeah, he
shelf.
brings a lot of gravitas to the role.
Totally.
Oh, Jack Pooch. Sorry, dogs are being eating.
Well, I still remember Day the Earth Stood Still, which is a great film.
What? Should we catch up on chat real quick? We got a lot of it.
Yes, thank you.
Fella.
Yeah, I said Jim said Universal Translator, and OG said Metrons are probably woke. Don't be a Gorn. Like and subscribe. And Jim says, "Hey to OG." OG says, "Gorns who subscribe get free Universal Translators."
There you go.
And OG says, "Hail Jim." Matt says, "English is my second language. I only speak one language." The TARDIS is saying, "Jill!" LOL. OG says, "Is that the language, Gorn, Matt?" Scurvy says, "I'm about halfway into Metropolis. I haven't even started yet." OG said, "Slow ahead, Scurvy." Scurvy says, "Oh, it's long, LOL." OG says, "I've seen it, Lemon. LOL. Enjoy. I recommend The Last King of Scotland, Scurvy." Oiler sounds good. I've actually read a lot about Idi Amin something.
Idi Amin. Idi Amin.
Idi Amin, he was an African dictator.
Right. We talked about him during Lost in Space episode where I was covering the guy who was teaching people how to do vocalizations. And he taught Forrest Whitaker how to do the voice of Idi Amin, which in turn won Forrest Whitaker an Academy Award. He was a linguist.
Okay.
So refer to our episode, A Trip to Earth, or Return to Earth, everybody, if you were wondering what I'm talking about, if you weren't able to see that. How's that, Pooch? Give me a break.
And here's my channel for watch parties and reviews. And OG says, "Then you should really see the movie, Scurvy." OG says, "Do a review of it, Lemon." And that is all of them.
Which movie? The Lost in Space movie?
No, that Last King of Scotland.
Oh, okay, gotcha. A day of filming note. Day 3, Thursday, December 16th. Filming continued on stage 6 with the various scenes outside the Keeper's ship. And this brought Marta Christen's first opportunity to work with Michael Rennie. She gushed. "I liked Michael Rennie a lot. He was a real nice person. He was erudite, and I liked the way he carried himself and flirted with me." Rennie said, "I suppose women find me attractive because I am polite, charming, and courteous. A gentleman. My romantic reputation is an exaggeration. The realities are a bit different." So I'm glad they actually had a little bit of an interview with Michael Rennie himself. That's incredible.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. I like how Smith thinks that they can take on this alien just because he's by himself, even though he has like a replicator, transporter, and a little stick that can control the mind.
Hundreds of years ahead of them, advanced technology. But yeah, let's just jump them, right?
That sounds like Smith, though. Smith always thinks he can outfox anybody, even though he usually, loses.
Well, because he's every thought on his mind is how to get back to Earth, and he'll do anything to do it.
Yeah, and also he always thinks he's superior to everybody, even though he's a jackass, basically.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And I have a picture here I'm going to try to include if I can, if I don't take too long doing it. It's a behind the scenes photo.
Oh, is this the part where Smith tries to lure the kids into the keeper's keeping, so to speak?
I'm trying to remember, but right, he's trying to get them to basically join him. And of course, you got to remember this whole time, they have never been inside that ship. They don't know what to expect if they get in there anyway.
Exactly.
So they're assuming that the keeper is piloting the ship by, of course he is, but they're assuming he doesn't have a crew.
And I'm still amazed at this point that the kids actually trust Smith at all, because they kind of just go along with him, right?
I think
And it's
they're
like,
humoring him. Yeah.
are you? Have you not figured this guy out yet, kids? Oh well.
No, they really don't.
Yeah, they're
They
so
don't suspect
trusting.
anything.
They're so trusting.
Penny
Well,
almost suspects something, but Will convinces her.
yeah, well,
Yes.
Penny's a little older, right? So she's starting to figure things out. Will's still pretty much a child, even though he's a very intelligent child. He's still basically an innocent kid. So yeah, still naive on some levels.
Well, he is, but
Exactly.
he
That's the
knows
word
enough
I
to be
use too.
right. And I think they bring that word up in here, don't they? Bring up the word naivety in this episode. I could be wrong.
It
They
must,
might.
because it's in my review of the episode.
They might. I, as I say, it's been a few weeks since I watched, so my memory's fading already. But
What makes it work? My stored cosmic energy. I love Lost in Space Science. Cosmic energy.
Cosmic
that's
energy,
pretty cool. Yeah.
which could be anything, but oh well, it works.
Right?
Especially if
That's
you're a
cool.
kid. If you're a kid, it sounds really fascinating, doesn't it?
That's a very cool shot there. That's
Yeah,
very
right.
cool.
He's getting this
Wow.
disco staff recharged.
Damn, that is a great shot.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the he's actually a very interesting character because he is complex. There's a benevolent side to him, and then there's just the mission side to him where he doesn't give a damn. He's just going to take what he wants, right? So it's just like I think Rennie actually pulls it off really well too, playing the two sides of this character.
I agree.
Penny almost makes the right decision, realizing she should tell her parents what she's up to. But he talks her out of it.
Uh-oh.
And I want to share a quick behind the scenes photo here because I think I love these behind the scenes photos because it's a rare view that we've never seen growing up.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So if you guys ever wondered how big that backdrop was in the set, not very big. So our imagination, when you're a kid, your imagination runs wild. And I thought that was miles and miles and miles of desert and mountains behind them.
Those are all matte paintings of some sort, I'm guessing.
Yes, matte painting, right? And you can clearly see the studio lights above and all the trestles and the.
Oh yeah, it just goes up so far, and then it's just like the studio.
Yeah, the way they paint the picture is very immersive.
Yes.
Oh, I think those guys are brilliant. Like those are brilliant artists that can do that.
Did I accidentally do that?
I did that. I removed Jill's slides long enough to share that picture, and then I just shared her slides again.
Yeah, I just set my phone down, and all of a sudden it switched screens. It's like, huh. And welcome, Pickles. Welcome.
Pickles?
Guys, forget that's LDG. Hello.
Hello, LDG. What is he, Joe? Yeah, good to see you, Joe, or LDG. Glad you could join us.
Well, now he's going to call. Okay.
Oh, PvP was going Pickles, huh? I was like, well, that's because it used to be LDG Pixels something. But
Oh,
everybody kept calling them pickles because they couldn't pronounce pixels.
I actually kind of like the nickname Pickles. Actually, it's easier to
Is
say.
that how it happened?
Yeah, or at least that's how it was explained to me.
Yeah, I'll go with Pickles. What the hell?
I thought it was just because he liked pickles.
Oh,
He
I don't mind
does.
pickles once in a while.
He
But
buys giant jars of them. But
I love dill pickles. Oh my god, I could eat them forever.
oh, that's cool.
Still, and they're
There's a
getting
good
harder and harder to find.
Well, you used to
Now-
make them, but I don't have my grandma's recipe.
Well, I know I could get a good recipe, but the thing is, I'm talking about the sour ones. The stores are phasing them out because you go to the store now and everything's kosher, which means partial. It's like semi-dill, semi-sweet, and I absolutely cannot stand them. I like the sour. The more sour, the better. So I was able to find some. I had to actually order through the mail because I was not able to find it at any grocery stores. But to get actual dill pickles, almost impossible now.
My mom used to make dill pickles from scratch when she was young. Like I remember, like when I was a kid, right? She'd actually, get was it cucumbers? I guess whatever the hell they
Yeah,
are. And
yeah, cucumbers.
she'd do the salt and the brine and the whole thing,
Uh-huh.
right? And she'd do the whole thing with the jars and the whole thing from scratch.
Booch, hi,
And
shot.
my mom was really a talented lady when I think back then. Like
Back when people used to actually do hand cooking, right?
she was a really, really good cook. Yeah, my mom. Oh, classy lady.
well,
Oh, I miss her.
the keeper is summoning a creature for the kids, and that summons both Dr. Smith and the Shetland pony unicorn.
Or
So, which is one for the kids, Jill? Is it Smith or the pony?
poor weak-minded little Smith, right?
Hey, Sean, how's
Wow,
it going?
that's quite a pony.
Hey,
I
Sean,
gotta
good
say.
to see you. Glad you could join us. I noticed what's odd about this too is they didn't say the word unicorn.
Yeah, does
No.
it have? It has a horn, does it?
Yes.
Does.
Wow. So it's a unicorn before they became kind of popular in recent history.
Well, they've been around for centuries. It's just that I thought
No,
it
but
was
it
odd
seems
that they
like
didn't call it a unicorn. I think they said a Shetland
it seems like
or just a
unicorns
pony.
have become like big in pop culture in the last 10 years. I don't know.
Probably due to My Little Pony, I'm guessing.
Could be. Oh, this is
Unfortunately.
cool. This is cool. His ship is weird because it has several forms, doesn't it? Because this is the original shot, but then it changes.
Yeah, this is the scene that I referred to in the beginning, where due to budget constraints, they weren't able to make a miniature, and they didn't really have time to do a matte painting, so they used the artist's concept for that scene.
Oh,
And if I hadn't read that, I never would have known.
yeah, I kind of
So
always
it really
I
looked
wondered.
really good.
Yeah, I wondered about that when I watched it. Actually, yeah.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
And here we have some forced perspective, which gives us the impression that these hallways are infinite and go on and on and on. And I really enjoy that. And remember, like I mentioned earlier, this is before the cage. The cage came out later the same year.
This is kind of like a TARDIS then. It's bigger on the inside than the outside.
Well, remember that establishing shot, the ship did look pretty big. So I'm guessing those hallways are maybe inside that ring that goes around it.
Yeah, that's quite a design, I've got to say. This is from like what, episode 2 or 3, those bubble things?
Oh yeah, we've seen them before and we'll see them again.
Yeah, I think it was episode 2, the derelict. I believe those were in originally.
Well, it was also in the let's see, what was it?
I think
Invaders from the Fifth Dimension.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the guys that were bald and they had no mouth.
Yeah, I know I'd seen those in a previous episode because as soon as I saw them, it's like, I know those glowing orb thingies.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said earlier, my stepmother had one, and I don't know what the purpose of them were. I don't think they were candle holders. I don't know what they were, but they look nice.
I'm baffled. I have no idea what their actual function is, but they look cool though.
This is where Smith helps by accident.
Right,
Smith
he does
is
something
in a
good for a
trance again.
change. And it's funny too because he knocks the staff out of the keeper's hand, which turns it off or slash damages it, which means the keeper should really work on his technology. I think it'd be a little more reliable than that. But I'm not going to knock it.
Yeah, right. It's very delicate.
Yeah, I think the keeper's a bit arrogant because he's got such faith in himself that he doesn't seem to realize his technology can be damaged so easily.
Yes. And I'm going to show something here really quick, guys. Bear with me.
Yeah, Dr. Smith thinks he can lure the keeper to Earth and help him get to Earth.
That's all Smith wants is a ride back to Earth. Yeah.
Right, that's all he cares about, right? He doesn't care what damage it does to Earth or who he... I mean, the guy could be planning on taking over Earth and taking everybody, but Smith doesn't care as long as he gets back to Earth, right?
Exactly.
Sounds like about right, yeah.
You want to come kidnap some species? That's fine. Just bring me with you.
Right, and just you can take anybody you want, just don't, as long as it's not me, right?
Yeah.
And here's another behind-the-scenes shot.
Okay. Ooh, interesting.
So here we have the production designer working with Michael Rennie on the staff as they were applying power to it.
Oh, cool.
And I'm guessing the power cable was running up to the bottom of the staff because whenever it lights up, they tend to have the bottom off camera.
The staff was a really cool thing in this episode. I really enjoyed. Like, it kind of sets him off like as a very cool alien to have that bit of technology, right? Because it is a very effective prop.
Well, not only that, though, but whenever he holds it out, it gets everybody's attention. You'll notice that everybody's staring at that thing when it lights up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah.
And here they decide that the kids are very susceptible to the power of the suggestion of the keeper and his lures. So they decide to keep the kids locked in their quarters for the night. And, of course, Smith doesn't like being treated like such.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be locked in his quarters, but I'm glad they did.
Yes. Well, especially funny when, I can't remember the exact line, but where Don says to him like a juvenile or something like that, and he totally takes offense to that. There it is.
There's a look. He was a really good actor, though, with the looks, I gotta say.
And, of course, I don't blame them. They don't trust him. I wouldn't either. Go ahead, Gorilla.
Very expressive.
What?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Sorry about that.
No.
So they're going to take shifts. And, well, actually, he just relieved Dom. And now he's going to... By the way, this is where Penny was smirking. This is one of the scenes I was talking about. And I even noticed that when I was young and I saw this. I thought, it looks like she's about ready to start laughing.
I noticed that too, but it didn't bother me. It was like, okay, she's just going crazy from really wanting to have a walk.
Yeah, she just wants to have
smiling
fun.
Didn't bother me.
Well, she was under the power of the keeper in this scene, was she not?
Yes.
He was basically calling her to the ship to be basically a specimen or whatever.
Well, yeah, not only that, though, he's not even trying to be very coy about it. He's standing right in front of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. And that staff is not exactly quiet either.
So I'm kind of thinking that's why she smirks, because her mind is just not all there, right? At the moment.
That's what I gathered.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize it was a mistake.
It didn't bother me at all because it went by so quickly anyway. It's like I was totally so into the story, I really didn't think about it too much, and
Well, within the universe, I could say that I could see the smile because it's like the childlike wonder when she's being lured.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of...
Penny still is pretty much a child at this point in the series, right? So.
Yes. Well, not only that, though, but if you're a kid and you know that there's a zoo with all these animals you've never seen before, I would be excited about it, too. I wouldn't quite understand that the benevolent or that the bad guy has more deeper things in mind. As a kid, all I would be thinking about is wanting to see that zoo and what he has in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like she gets some kind of joy from seeing all of that. Wonder.
Yes. So here's where they establish. Oh, Dr. Smith, of course, has been in his quarters the whole time. So now we're assuming, because they just showed the shot of the keeper outside of his ship during the daytime. So I'm guessing this is the next day, even though I think it's supposed to be that same night.
Thought it was the same night. Is it the next day?
Yeah, but
Maybe
when
All I
they
know
showed,
is
yeah, a couple slides back, it showed the keeper. I'm sure it was probably right there. I'm sure it was a mistake. It was probably a shot from another part of the episode, and they just used it again.
Well, so he's also right in front of his spaceship, right there.
Yeah,
yes,
but if you
this
look
is the
behind him,
shot
it's
from earlier in the
Because
episode.
he's right in front of his ship, not near the Robinson ship.
This
correct.
is the shot. This is the shot from when he was trying to bring the children, lure the children back after they ran away from the ship. This is the same thing.
Yeah, this is like a huge mistake then. Wow,
right.
bad
But
continuity.
well, it's like I said, it's up to the director, Sophie Martin. I guess he was in a rush
Wow,
because he kept falling behind schedule.
that's a horrible continuity error though. That's just bad.
Oh, it's all right. I can forgive it.
Wow. Oh well. But yeah, that's geez, I didn't even notice that. But yeah, now that we talk about it, it's like, geez, yikes.
Yeah, I guess they could have showed another shot of the keeper standing outside the Jupiter 2 at nighttime. But I
You
guess
would have,
instead they
yeah.
decided to show this.
You would have just thought they could have recycled the previous shot at night or something like, because it's only like for a couple of seconds anyway, right? Probably. So, oh well, it is what it is.
All right. How are we doing on chat, Gorilla?
Let's catch up on it. There
All
wasn't
right.
too.
Yeah, and it's getting dark here. I need to turn my light on. I'll be right back.
All right. Job says, Job's fine, guys. Beats pickles. Oh, we're still going to call you pickles. Because, yeah, I do like some nice pickles. And Sean says, hey, all. I'm working, so I'll have to join in afterwards, but wanted to drop a hello before we're back into the store. Well, you're always welcome here, Sean. And Jim says, hail to Sean Carter. And Sean says, Pop,
Yeah.
I started watching Lost in Space. Can you believe I never did before? So far, it's great, and I'm getting good references for the model. Soon I'll be all caught up.
Very cool. I'm so excited. I can't wait, Sean. And especially with your talent, it's going to be fascinating. Especially for the unboxing. That's going to be, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Sean, you're a generous, very kind man.
That's awesome. And Stream Elements just knew right then to put up his link for his
Stream
channel.
Elements, thank you for doing something right for a change, yes.
Alrighty. Sean says, hey, Jim. Jim says, hail, Job. Captain says, I will do anything for time travel, but I won't do that. And here's LDG's chat backstage there for you. Need IT help or need a place to hang out? And Jim says, anything.
Okay, but I need you to go play, okay? I'll play with you in a little bit, and we'll go to bed.
Yeah, and here is Sean Carter's channel for model work.
I'm sorry about that. That was out loud.
Oh, no, it's fine. You're fine.
I got to go talk to my daughter. I'll be right back.
Go for it. And I want to mention I'm jealous. Sean got to meet Ponch from Chips. I saw the pictures. Damn it, Sean. I wish I could have been there. I'm a big fan of Chips. In fact, I've been revisiting. I'm watching it lately. And him and Larry Wilcox still look pretty good for their ages. Yeah, Sean has a picture that he got autographed like 40 years ago by Eric Estrada, and then he took the same picture back and had it autographed a second time. And he said that Eric Estrada was showing it around to everybody. That is very cool.
That is amazing, actually. What a story.
It is. That's something that Estrada's definitely going to remember.
Yeah, I bet he hasn't had fans come up 40 years apart and have them sign something twice, eh?
Right, the same
wow.
picture.
The same guy. Like, you must be a fan, dude. That is awesome. What a great story. Wow. Wow, that's a great story. Oh, boy.
All right, so the Kiefer Part 1 finished filming on December 22nd. Each episode was allocated 3 weeks for post effects, editing, and audio work. That's exactly what we were figuring, about 3 weeks. But the CBS broadcast for this episode was scheduled for January 12th, and only this late because the series had been preempted. The series had already been preempted twice in the weeks prior, in late December and early January. CBS needed to screen the episode for its broadcast standards department, and the approved film, provided it was approved, would have to be delivered to the network several days prior to airtime. This seemed impossible. The time between December 22nd and January 12th was only 21 days. Everyone involved would have to work faster and put in extra hours in order to get this episode onto the air in time. William himself, in charge of production that is, had approved a budget of $137,858 for part one of The Keeper, with all the overtime pay kicking in as they rushed this one through the post-production process. The end cost climbed to $161,885. One 11-year-old boy felt the extra money was well spent. Billy Mooney said The Keeper and Return from Outer Space are two of his favorite episodes of all time.
I imagine Moomy must have had a great time working with Michael Rennie.
Well, yeah, as a kid, can you imagine?
I can imagine.
It's like playing pretend on a spaceship. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like you're 11 years old and you're literally working with a living legend of film, right?
Yes.
It's like, wow, that must have been incredible.
Well, I'm right, and remember that interview that I read from a few weeks ago, where he said he would have to be serious and learn his lines, and then he hated when he had to go and do 2 hours of school, and then back onto the set to do more filming, then 2 hours of school.
Right.
I mean, for me, it's a job and you get paid, but this would have been me like play. It would have been like fun.
Well, yeah, but they did have that stipulation for young child actors, right? That they had to get X number of hours a week of actual schooling with a teacher, right? Because it was just like, I guess it was just a law back then, basically.
Yes, it still is. It may have changed or varied a little bit, but yeah, they still have the strict law. That's why, like with this show Bewitched, and that show, what was it? I think it's Full House. The one that had the little girl. I don't remember, but that's why
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Thank you. That's why they started hiring twins.
Yes,
so they
twins.
could get more air. Yeah, they could get more airtime with each kid on the screen.
Because I remember Bewitched, right? There were twin girls playing Tabitha, were there not? If I remember correctly.
Well, there was two girls, but as they got older, they started looking different, so they had to settle on just one.
But yeah, I remember when Bewitched, when they had the daughter and Tabitha came into the series. Yeah, changed the dynamic a lot.
Yes, and in actuality, but this is my personal opinion, I think the series kind of suffered when they introduced the kid, because when they started having more episodes. Yeah, when they started having more episodes revolved around the kid.
Yeah,
even as a child, I thought it was too childish.
Yeah. Well, the other problem with Bewitched is when the first Darren had to quit because he had those serious health issues, I think, with his back, if I remember correctly. He was almost a cripple. And I love the first Darren. And for me, the second Darren just never did it.
No,
I'm sorry. He tried hard, but it just was never the same.
I would debate that. I would say he didn't try at all.
Well, you know what I mean. It was not the same show, right?
When I was a kid, I accepted it. I'll put it that way with Dick Sargent.
Yeah, me too.
You can go back and watch it now, and it's like you could tell he didn't even try to act heterosexual.
Yeah, he's kind of phoning it in, isn't he?
Right. No chemistry between him and Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yeah, that's another problem.
And I've seen interviews where people say, "Well, it's not his fault. He was gay." That doesn't matter because the father of the Brady Bunch was gay in real life, and you would never know that by watching the show.
Well, you're an actor,
right? You're an actor when it comes down to it.
You should be able to play anything, whether you're gay, straight, whatever.
Exactly.
You know.
No offense to any gay people listening.
The first Darren, though, I love the first Darren. I think
It's okay.
What's
I
his
wasn't
name?
listening.
Oh God, I can't remember his name.
Hello
Nick
to
York.
Canadian Spider-Man in the chat.
Ah, you beat me to it, Jill. I was waiting for a gap there.
Hail, Hail, Spidey.
Hi,
Yay,
Spidey.
Spidey.
Oh, excuse me for burping.
And another thing I'm going to mention too that we were kind of covering in the slides, and we were speaking about this about a week or so ago on Jill's channel, is I'm glad they referred to Tom Sawyer in this episode with the slingshot. I thought that
Yes,
was
that's
nice.
right. Yes, because Will created a slingshot, and it ends up being used to take out the staff of the Keeper later on in the episode by Dawn.
Well,
Yes.
you know, those slingshots are pretty important in history. I mean, that's how what was that? The guy that killed
David and
Goliath or whatever.
Right, right, and Professor Robinson even mentions that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's not too far back. It's right here.
Now, what they wanted to say. Now, this is like an important thing because it's not necessarily who has the more powerful weapons. There, it's how you. It's your intellectual that'll beat you on the battlefield. Because for
Right,
example,
it's how you use it, right?
It's how
the
you
perfect,
used them. Yeah.
the perfect example from recent history is World War II. Most of the people were fighting with machine guns and maybe some sniper rifles and all that. Well, there's one. I think was he British or Canadian? There, he's after he got off the boat there, he took out his longbow, and I think he has like 42 under his belt for kills.
Wow.
Yeah, he went through France with just with just a longbow.
He's probably Canadian. I don't think the British. Well, who knows? I don't know. I know the Canadians in World War II are pretty ferocious fighters, though, from what I've read in history. Like, actually, on D-Day, when all our Allied forces landed, the Canadians landed on Juno Beach, and I think we were the troops on the first 24 hours that we penetrated the deepest into France. I think we got like 42 miles in, fighting the Germans all the way, and none of our allies got that far on the first day, as far as I know. So Canadians were pretty damn vicious back in World War II.
Okay. It was a British guy named John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill.
Oh,
Who
well, yeah, he
who
sounds
the
like
heck
a guy that would use a crossbow.
That's quite
Yeah,
a
you know.
mouthful, yeah.
Yeah, he was nicknamed Fighting Jack Churchill or
Wow.
Mad Jack. He fought in the Second World War II with a longbow, a
Jeez.
basket-hilted Scottish broadsword. Oh yeah, and he's the guy that just walked up the
Broadsword?
beat. What?
He used a broadsword.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. He's also the guy that when he walked up, he was just walking up the beach playing the bagpipe.
Oh, amazing. He sounds like quite a character, I gotta say.
Well, he got his name in the history books.
Oh, he deserved to with those fighting tactic skills. Damn, I'm impressed.
Yeah, we owe a lot to heroes like that in our history. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, we had some amazing Canadian fighters too. I think there was one guy that was a sniper, Canadian, and I think I don't know how many kills he got, but I think it set a record for all time.
No,
He
the
was
record.
really good.
No, the Finnish soldier has the record for most kills.
Well, this Canadian guy was still pretty far up there, I think.
Yeah, he might have gotten the Canadian record.
I don't remember. It's been so long since I thought about World War II, but there were still some pretty impressive. Oh, what's this? Ooh.
Oh.
Gee, we went through the end of the episode so quickly there.
Yeah, we did.
So
I
essentially,
can bring it back up if you want.
well, essentially, right, Dr. Smith decided to covertly, under the cover of darkness, try to steal the Keeper's ship, and he brought the robot with him.
Oh,
He
okay.
figured the robot could examine the controls and figure out how to use them. And of course, he gives them an entire 5 seconds to examine everything.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Smith being an impatient jackass like he usually is.
Oh,
Well, you're right. What could possibly go wrong, right? Intergalactic vessel. And you've got 5 seconds to learn the controls.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Yeah.
Oh, PvP. I got the answer to your question there.
Uh-oh.
You didn't get the most sniper kills. You guys has June of 2017 has the longest sniper shot in history there in Iraq there with 308 3,871 yard shot.
Okay,
Wow, that's incredible.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, there were some pretty talented guys in our military over the years. Canada's not known as a warrior nation, I guess, but we have been over the years involved in a number of wars, and I think we've fared quite well for a country with a tiny population. So,
Well, that's because you're attached to the you're attached to Britain, so you're stuck in all their wars.
we do generally end up joining in a Commonwealth wars, yes, just like Australia and New Zealand, right? It's like, when somebody's attacking one of us, we kind of band together and we all kind of join in. Actually, I think Canada was the second or third country to sign on to World War II after Poland was invaded. So we actually entered the war quite early, I believe. I think we entered the war like 2 or 3 weeks after it started. I'm not sure exactly, but I'd have to refresh my memory and take a look at it. Anyway, that's a great episode, eh, guys?
Yeah, right. The only part of the plot we really didn't talk about was how Will used his ability to control the robot to escape, and how Smith was actually smart for once and was using earplugs to keep himself from being entranced by the staff.
Ah, right.
And hey,
yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Hello, Daniel's Hot Topics.
I'm looking forward to watching part 2 sometime during the coming week. I'm sure it was good. Oh,
although one of the things that always bothers me happened in this episode is the kids are missing, the robot's there. Still, nobody asks the robot what happened. Nobody likes to inquire with the robot.
They don't seem to really be too worried about the kids most of the time, do they, Jill? The kids just wander off, disappear, get kidnapped by aliens. And it's like, oh well, whatever.
Well, that's like they told the robot to supposedly keep an eye on them and in their quarters, but they didn't give the robot explicit instructions on do not let them leave the ship.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Point two.
Oh well, it's lost in space, I guess.
Give me just a moment. I'll be right back.
Oh boy, I do
All right.
like it. Hey, did you guys find the last scene with all the monsters leaving the ship kind of cool?
That was pretty cool. Yes.
Yeah, because we kind of get a recap
Yeah.
of a lot of the monsters we've seen in the first 15 episodes before, right? We got like the Cyclops, and I can't remember them all. There's too many, but I'll tell you, when I watched this when I was like 7 years old on the black and white TV, lying on the rug next to my best friend, that scene freaked the hell out of me. It was really scary for a kid to see all these monsters coming out over the last minute or so, right? It was terrifying. Now I watch it and I'm like, it's no big deal, right? But back when you're 7, that's pretty that's like in your brain, that scene, right? You know?
Well,
Uh-oh, did your mic die?
hello?
I'm there. I'm still here. I thought you went away. It sounded like you disappeared there. Uh-oh.
I'm okay.
No, I just liked that last scene. I just thought it was a pretty freaky
Yeah, it was
scene.
pretty cool. I wasn't around. I wasn't watching it when I was 7, so.
Well, no,
but
it's different when you see it as a kid, right? So
I imagine.
now as an adult, I can watch and it's no big deal. But when you're a kid, it's like, wow, this is pretty scary with all these creatures running out of the ship, so. Anyway.
Yeah, should we catch up on chat while we're waiting for Pop?
Might as well. I got nothing much else to say about this episode, really, other than giving it I'll give it a rating.
I think the staff is a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes it works on the kids. Sometimes it only works on Dr. Smith. But yeah, you can read some chat, Gorilla. Go for it.
Go for it, Gorilla.
Okay. So Jim says, hail the edge. Scurvy says, "Hail, Sean, Jim, Edge of Time." Sean says, "Pop, I need to tell you the story of how my phone number used to belong to Erica Estrada."
Oh, jeez.
Okay, remind me to tell Pop
I'm
that.
sure Pop's going to enjoy that one.
Sean, and how the person who told me was Bob Eubanks. Okay.
I was a game show host.
Jim says, "I don't see Stream Elements do my channel link." Sean says, "Hi, Scurvy." And here it is, Jim. Here's your channel link. Cool, thanks.
All you had to do was ask, and Stream Elements provides.
And Spidey is given a hand pink waving. And Darren versus Darren, LOL. We debated this. Jim says, "Hail to Spidey." Edge of Time says, "Talk about phoning it in. Both Ken and Barbie are playing by fake blondes. This LAS girl is a closer cooks match to Barbie." Matt G says, "Hail Spidey. LOL. You like those Jack Show super chats on Culture's channel? LOL."
Yeah, you're not wrong. Judy would be a good Barbie if that became a thing she had to do.
Yeah, I guess that Barbie movie's doing pretty well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Then
I got
Scurvy
no interest, but
says, "Spidey, hello to you." John says, "Matt G, Canadian Spider-Man, a bunch of waves and a couple middle fingers and a few more waves."
uh-oh.
Sean says, "Hey there, OG." Matt G says, "Hello, Sean." Sean says, "Edge of Time waving." Oiler Greg says, "Hey, Sean." OG says, "I always bring my robot when stealing a ship."
And that's pretty smart. And if Smith actually gave it the time to actually learn how to fly the ship, maybe he would have gotten away with it too.
Yeah, really, eh? Yeah.
Daniel says, "Awesome. I love lots of Spaceball. Glad you like it." And here's some guy named PvP who has a channel with rock and roll stuff on it. Spidey says, "Sean Carter, good to see you, buddy." Spidey says, "Lemon Pie, hello and hail to you." Matt G says, "Hello." Here's Oiler Greg's channel for spoiler-free reviews. And Spidey says, "Matt G, hello and good evening." Jim says, "Hail to Daniel's topics." Matt says, "Hello." Spidey says, "Thanks for being here, everyone." Well, thank you for being here, Spidey. Daniel says to Jim, "Hi, Jim." Spidey says, "Hello and hail to Jim." Spidey says, "Thanks for being here."
Good to see you, Spidey.
Yeah,
Glad you're
Spidey.
here.
Cheers
You
for
want to
the
talk about gamesters tomorrow?
PCC. And
Yeah.
OG. Yeah.
Good turnout in the chat tonight, I gotta say.
Yeah, it was really good to see everybody. See, this is why I go like. This is why I do want to continue my streams whenever I can. It makes me feel a lot better. So I will do my best to finish the streams this week because for me it's very therapeutic. So I appreciate your patience, everybody.
I think it is for a lot of us. We well, that's why we come back week after week because we have a lot of fun, right? So yeah, totally.
I know I love it, especially when I'm in the company of smart people like you that are fellow sci-fi fans. I couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, you guys are all awesome. So yeah, it's always fun. Always fun to be on the panel.
I wanted to note here. Okay, the premiere is, like I said, premiere January 12, 1966. Good quality of product and popularity among the audience, notwithstanding, something had to change soon regarding how long Lost in Space episodes were taken to film and post-produce, or the series would soon be missing air dates. The week that The Keeper Part 1 was first televised on CBS, the Beatles had a lock on the top spot in the Billboard charts for the new album, Rubber Soul. No singles were issued from the album, something only the Beatles would dare do. But LP cuts immediately began getting airplay on radio stations, including Norwegian Wood, In My Life, and The Shell. The new Beatles single, not found on the album, was a double-sided hit with We Can Work It Out, now the most played song on American top 40 radio stations. The B-side, Day Tripper, By the way, this is 45 records for us old people. Those little tiny things that had a song on each side.
Yeah, those seven inchers as they called them back then.
I used to collect them. The
I
B side Day
still
Tripper
have
was not.
tons.
Yes, the B side Day Tripper was not far behind. The
Day Tripper's
sci-fi
a great
spy
band.
thriller. The sci-fi spy thriller Agent for Harm was the film doing the best business in the nation's movie houses. HARM, H is an acronym for Human Etiological Relations Machine. Ava Gabor and Eddie Albert of Green Acres had the cover of America's top-selling magazine, TV Guide. Also, everybody, as a reminder, I did put a poll in the chat. If you get a chance, if you feel so inclined, please feel free to vote on what you thought about this episode. And you can feel free to be totally honest. If you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. That's totally fine. You can give us a review on what you thought of this episode, or you can give us a review on what you think of our coverage of this episode or how we handled it. And also, any suggestions, feel free to throw those in there. I love suggestions and I love ideas because that always makes things better. And that way it's not just an echo chamber and things are constantly evolving.
All right. Funny how Euler Greg said, typical 60s parents, LOL, be home by dark and avoid monsters. And OG says, cheers. And Matt G says, yes, Barbie is doing great whether we like it or not. But remember, it's part of the Barbenheimer phenomenon. And Oppenheimer is not woke and is providing a temporary boost to theaters. It's a historic moment in cinema history.
Well, and Japan's not happy. They don't like it.
Oh. Well, don't pick a fight if you can't win.
I know. And they'll be the first to admit that. They'll be the first to admit that.
There was one way up here. Where was it? It's directly at you there. I can't find it.
Oh yeah, there was one about something Pop you'd be interested in. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I appreciate it. I had to step away for a moment to get next week's clip ready, so that's why.
Yeah, it was in the chat.
Where was it?
It's got to be a ways up by now.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, pop culture. I need to tell you the story of how my phone number used to belong to Erica Estrada and how the person who told me was Bob Eubanks.
Bob Eubanks from the dating game? Or no, Newlywed Game?
Yeah, he was the game show guy or whatever, right?
Yeah, Newlywed Game. I need to tell you my phone number. Wow, so that's interesting. That's interesting how you actually met Eric Estrada and you were able to share that story. The Newlywed Game was hilarious. There's a lot of clips you can find on YouTube where people were caught in awkward questions. I remember one of them sticks in my mind because remember, this is the Newlywed Game. So they had people on there that were freshly married and they were asking them questions about their relationships. And one of the famous clips was they asked each couple, "Where's the craziest place you ever made love?" And one of the wives said, "In the butt."
Oh. Yeah, I remember that show could get pretty crazy at times, couldn't it?
Well, what was funny is like the clip I just mentioned. that actually made it past the censors because there was no cuss words, right? And so there's a lot of times where things would make it past the censors, which made the shows. Well, I guess I liked them because they weren't so refined and rehearsed like they are now. Now everything's rehearsed and by the book.
Yeah.
But I'm old fashioned, so
yeah, things were spontaneous back in those days, right, Bob?
Yeah, exactly. They were spontaneous. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what I liked about being young back in the 60s and 70s. It's like everybody just went with whatever. Everybody was far more relaxed. People weren't uptight.
Well, yeah, that was it. You didn't have people constantly looking to be offended.
Nobody was offended back then. We
No.
were like adults, right?
Right.
Even
When
as a teenager, I was an
right, when
adult.
somebody complained, people would tell them, get over it.
Yeah, nobody cared. It's just like, well, whatever. If you're upset, you're upset. Like, we
I
don't care.
know. But now the whole point is drawing attention to themselves.
I think the internet is a big part of the problem, actually, Pop.
Well, I'll be more specific. TikTok, Twitter, Facebook.
Exactly. Social media, basically,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yep.
let's put it this way. When I was like 17, I'd get together with my 3 or 4 buddies. We'd go out wanting to have a good time on a Friday night. If we had like $10 in our pockets, we were rich. We'd go out. Back then, like a glass of beer was like 50 cents, right? So you could go out, pool our resources, have a great time partying. And it was just like we'd walk down the streets, at 11 o'clock at night. No problem, no worries,
Nope.
no danger, nothing, just having a good time, right?
Yep.
It was a different world. It was such a different world back then. And no cell phones. So our parents didn't have a hell of a clue where we were or what
Same
we were
here.
up to. Yeah,
Yep.
it was great. It was freedom is what it was. It was true freedom. Yeah.
It was funny, right? We got the old instruction, be home before dark. But then, of course, in reality, it was always be home before dawn. We always had
never
to make
got
sure
home.
we got home before the sun came up.
Yeah, I think we'd usually get in around 1 or 2 in the morning back on the weekends then, if I remember correctly. Because usually I think the pubs would shut down around 1 o'clock and we'd eventually stagger home after that, depending on what we got up to.
But I'm talking about when I was a kid, like 12, 13, 14, we'd be all out all night. As soon as the parents hit the sack, we'd be out roaming the streets.
Oh, God. Those were good days.
Right. That's unheard of these days, right?
It's like a no fun world now, isn't it, compared to back then?
They've got to ruin everything, right? There's always somebody got to ruin everything.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everybody, I hope you, and I know I already mentioned this, but as a reminder, please, if you get a chance to vote in the chat. I hope that I'm not missing anything. Gorilla, why don't you give us your review of this episode and tell us about your channel?
All right. No, I thought it was a pretty good episode so far. I'm going to reserve my grade till part 2, though.
Oh.
I want to do my grade on part 2.
Okay.
So, but overall, I love the one creature in the beginning there. Magnificent, beautiful creature, as Worf would say. Handsome.
Animal monster.
Yeah. He's an interesting villain, but he seemed kind of like he doesn't have very much charisma. He relies on his staff a little too much there, but that could be, And I'm waiting to see what happens in part 2 before I give a full where I want to give a review there.
Cool. Well, I have to ask Gorilla, have you seen the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still?
I can't remember.
No, if you have to think about it, that means no. So we will be covering that on my channel eventually because that is another classic. And it stars Michael Rennie, the same guy that played the keeper from this episode. So we will be covering it. In fact, that was part of the poll last week.
Yes.
That was one of the choices.
It was. I remember. Exactly.
Yeah. And I know we've been doing classics. Like if we do Metropolis, that'll be like 3 weeks in a row. So I'm still going to keep changing it up, though, where we do modern stuff plus classics. And that reminds me, everybody, just to let you know, due to popular, I'll say not request, but demand, I'm not going to show a remake and then show an original movie because it makes no sense and people are complaining. So I'm going to start showing like The Blob. When we do that, I'll show the original first with Steve McQueen. Then we'll cover the remake. And the same with The Fly. I'll cover the original and then the remake. Because it really is pointless to show the remake first. And that was a bad decision on my part, so I apologize. So I just want to clarify that for everybody. So anytime there's an original movie, I'll show the original first.
I'd say it makes sense to go with the original, template first and then do the remake second. Yeah.
Yes. And that way, for people who haven't seen either one, it gives them a kind of a basis on how to judge between the two. and it's easy to discuss this because there are not that many remakes that are any good. So I can count on one hand how many remakes we'll be showing.
Well, that's true. Like
Right.
we did Invasion of the Body Snatchers a few months back, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes, and I want to cover the '78 version as
So
well.
yeah, so now you can do the '70s version anytime you want to put it in the poll, right?
Yep.
Because I'm up for that. Because I don't think I've ever seen. I might have seen it years ago, but it's been so long, I really
Ooh.
don't remember it at all, right? So
Well, yeah. Well, it definitely stands out on its own, so I won't be covering it.
I like
Gorilla.
the sequel. It's got Leonard Nimoy in it.
Exactly.
exactly.
Well, that's just it. It's like a remake / sequel because on the surface you think it's a remake, but it does have continuity with Dr. Bennell's character, the great Kevin McCarthy, where he's running through San Francisco saying, "They're here, they're here." So I do love. I mean, that's probably my favorite part of the movie, but I digress.
Yeah, no, I would love if you did that one on a Tuesday streams eventually. That would be cool.
And especially knowing San Francisco as well as I do.
I guess San Francisco was a different town back in those days.
Yeah, right. Everybody's been replaced instead of being replaced by pods. Everybody's been replaced by drug addicts. Gorilla, tell us about your channel while we're here.
All right, so
There you go.
I do a few watch parties a week. Wednesday we're continuing Justified there, season 1, and then on Saturday we have a very special watch party coming for Cringe Stock number 2, where we are watching Sausage Party. Now that's gonna be an interesting one. Don't come
You
for
like
the
that
movie,
movie?
come for the reaction.
Do you like that movie?
Do I like it?
Yeah.
There's a reason it's on Cringe Stock. It's one of the few movies that got me to you say, "What the f did I just watch?"
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
girl's been telling me how horrible it is, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah,
No, that's totally fine. For me, I can't fathom showing movies I don't like because I don't have fun watching movies I don't like.
Well,
But that's okay.
I think for Gorilla, it's kind of like Spock's brain is to Star Trek. It's like it's so ridiculous. It's kind of fun, if you know what
Kind
I
of like
mean.
Spock's brain.
Well, I love Spock's brain, but Jill, it's pretty silly, isn't it?
Yeah, but I want to warn you ahead of time. The thing is you still have to have fun watching it, even if you like the movie or not.
Well,
And
I've
I'm
never
telling you,
seen it.
you're not going to laugh when you watch Sausage Party. There are no jokes, nothing funny.
Oh,
So
well,
I'm just warning you.
I'll just drink heavily, and that'll be okay.
That'll do it.
Hey, well, PvP, when I did my 500 sub stream there, we were laughing at each other's comments on it. When we watched Mega Force there, we were kind of laughing at each other's comments on that. That's what the kind of the purpose. We're just laughing at each other's comments on it.
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
and shame on you because during that movie I said, so what do you guys think about Persis? And you're like, who's that? And you guys totally forgot about her playing Lieutenant Ilia on Star Trek: The Motion Picture just because she had hair.
Well,
Yeah, that's
Well,
Persis Kambata or whatever.
no, in all fairness, Pop, I don't remember many characters. I can remember characters' names, but I don't know who the actress or actresses are.
That's okay, no problem. You didn't commit any crime, Gorilla. You're okay. Is there anything else about your
Yeah,
channel you want to
same
mention?
here.
Well, then it's Babylon 5 later that night, and then for our movie songs that were turned into movies this next Sunday, we are doing Harper's Valley PTA.
Oh.
Is that the one with Barbara Eden?
I don't know who's in it. I just like the song, and I've always said they should make this into a movie. Apparently, they did back in the 70s.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
one with that's Dolly Parton in that, right?
No, Jeannie C. Riley was the original singer.
No,
But,
but Dolly,
they even turned it.
isn't Dolly in the movie though?
I don't know. I don't think she was acting it yet at that point. But they even turned it into a short-lived TV series. I don't think it made it past one season.
Yeah. Barbara Eden plays Stella Johnson.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
The only reason why I know it is because I'm such a big fan of Barbara Eden.
Well,
so
there's
I'm going to watch
another-
anything with her in it.
There's
Yeah.
another beautiful woman. So yeah, she's just as gorgeous as Dolly. Yeah.
Then
The difference is Barbara Eden still looks beautiful, and Dolly Parton looks like a plastic surgeon train wreck.
Yeah, Dolly's had a little too much surgery over the years. Yeah,
I'll
I
say,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, then
sad because she was beautiful. It's too bad.
yeah, then
Oh
our
well.
Walton's review on Friday, but that's about it. Then maybe some shorts coming, whatever comes to mind.
Very cool. All right, let's see here. And PvP, what say you? Give us your rating for this episode and tell us about your
Uh,
channel if you feel like it.
I would say I give it an A. I think it's a very good episode, very solid. I don't give it an A plus because there are probably 5 or 6 episodes I like more than this one, but it's still it's very good. It basically gets an A largely due to Michael Rennie's you know persona, his appearance, his presence, because he is such a damn good actor, right? Uh, Michael Rennie's one of those guys that could read the phone book and you'd watch him, right?
Yes, I
he's
agree.
just that. He's
Right, just
just
put him in front of the camera, right?
yeah, yeah, he's just got the look, right? He's like Leonard Nimoy. He's got that. The camera loves him. You just put his face on screen, and you just have to watch him do whatever he does.
Yep.
Uh, and the story's good. It's not actually. It's a pretty simple story. There's nothing too complex. He's basically like a Noah, trying to build the ark or something, right?
Yeah.
Collecting the two by two the
Yes.
specimens of every species. So yeah, the story's simple, nothing too complex. Dr. Smith is a little bit annoying, but not. He's actually kind of boring in this episode. I didn't find him really annoying enough to really care about what Dr. Smith did. It was basically the Michael Rennie's show, this one for sure. And yeah, I don't have much else to add. It's a good episode. I give it an A. Michael Rennie makes it. And yeah, I'm with Gorilla though. I want to kind of wait for part two because that will be interesting to see if the second half holds up as well as the first half does. But yeah, and basically as far as my channel goes, I'm still working on the music list, but it's going to be a while, guys.
No problem.
I need to catch up on sleep, I think, basically.
When you're ready, we'll be here.
I will get it done one of these, well, probably sometime in the next month or so. No promises, but
Okay. And Jill, what say you? What do you think about this episode? And tell us about your channel.
Oh, before I get to my review, I forgot a question I had earlier in the episode. Since the robot is my favorite character, basically, I had a question. When
Uh-huh.
the robot says, "If I do not complete my task at exactly
Oh,
14:15, I will blow a computer in miscalculation," like
I know.
was he being serious or was he
I well,
joking?
right. Well, I think because this is so early in the series, I think he was serious. But I think because computer literacy was so minimum back then, I'm not sure they really knew how to word it, so it came out as comical.
uh,
Well,
Yeah, I really did.
Right?
Oh,
They
man.
could have said, "I'll short circuit. I'll blow a circuit. I'll blow a fuse. I'll blow a tube."
Yeah, that would make a little more sense. Because
Yes.
if your computer just blows up anytime it doesn't meet a scheduling, then
Right. A
you
conflict of
need a
some sort.
completely new machine.
wow.
Right. And you don't need Captain Kirk to talk it into destroying itself.
No, but but even with all the little things in this episode, I felt like this was an A- episode because it was pretty fun, and I thought it was funny that Dr. Smith was the only adult who was summoned by the keeper. And that tells you that despite his education, he still has some weak willpower. But it's also funny that this leads to actually saving the kids. So that's a fun twist. They really do rely a lot on Smith, but for good reason.
Yeah, at
He's
least
a
a
great
couple
actor.
times At least a couple times he saved them because of his simple mind, I guess you could say.
Hmm. However, it yeah, he's really foolish thinking that he can steal the ship without knowing how to drive it. So that's fun. And although Will's intelligent, like everybody said already, oh crap. I'll make this quick.
It's okay.
My daughter is needing me,
I
but
know. It's okay, Mommy.
despite Will's intelligence, his extreme naivete nearly gets them kidnapped. However, this is a classic sci-fi. Oh God, guys, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh.
I'll
Go
finish my
for it,
review in
Jill.
just a minute.
Yeah,
Go
I
for it,
can't
Jill.
Jill.
ignore
We
her
we,
this
understand.
long.
We understand. We
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. Come back when you can, Jill.
Red alert. Red alert.
Kitty
Well,
alert. Kitty
this
alert.
this would be a perfect time to catch up on chat then.
Thank you,
All
Gorilla.
right. There you go.
There was no internet back then either. You wouldn't know who was pissed, says Matt.
That's very true.
Job says corrupted internet. Real internet only heals. Maggie says, not that there wasn't people who would complain. Back then, people wrote letters, which sometimes did affect things. Let's not be too naive, lol. A letter writing campaign could derail something.
Actually, the letter writing campaign saved Star Trek for its third season, which is why it got into syndication because it probably never would have otherwise. So, letter campaigns did have did have their usefulness back then.
Yeah. The Mad G says they are making Jill's brain next. Well,
Uh-oh.
Doomcock Screw seeks out her missing brain. Mindless Jill praises Discovery and Picard for thought-provoking stories and amazing cinematography. And
Oh, you
Pickle
gotta read that for Jill when she comes back, girl.
she already seen it. She already seen it.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. Pickle says, thanks for the stream. No problems there, Pickles.
Glad to do it, Pickles. I'm sorry, LDG. I'm glad you could join it. Or Job, I'm glad you could be here, sir. So thank you for spending your time with us.
And Jill's laughing at Matt. Matt G's laughing. And Daniel says, is the episode over? Yep, we're just reviewing and pimping ourselves out.
We're getting there soon there, Daniel.
We're getting there, Daniel. Okay, so I guess that means it's my turn. All right. Let me do this here. I'm going to give the episode an A and try not to repeat everything everybody else said because you guys pretty much agree with me on a lot of the points. But I loved it for Michael Rennie's performance. I think that he was a highly underrated actor. I don't think he did enough. I wish I could list off a whole bunch of movies that he's done, but I can't do that because he just didn't seem like that. Hollywood just didn't seem to use him as much as they should have. I like the growth, the gradual growth that is of Dr. Smith and the way Jonathan Harris is slowly tailoring that character for his own. Like I was reading earlier, how some of these scenes were written as dramatic, but he puts that comedic flair in there, which really gives it the highlight and makes it more memorable. I liked that the episode had a large, even though they're all limited, as we know, with technology and budget, it had a large scope. I like the design of the ship. And, and like we mentioned earlier, this is before the Cage, but after the Twilight Zone. So it's not like the story was brand new. But I think with Michael Rennie's performance, it was outstanding. And I saw no flaws. And I know I mentioned about Angela Cartwright smirking, but I don't care. It never bothered me. I mean, I still love the episode. I still find this much better than anything that even comes out on television these days. I would rather watch this 1,000 times than one episode of the remake that was on Netflix. And as far as my channel is concerned, everybody, I'm hoping tomorrow night, God willing, that I'll be here 6 p.m. Pacific time, that hopefully we will cover I can't even find the right words to describe it, but the fantastic, amazing Metropolis. And even that's an understatement. If you were not aware of it, Metropolis is where everything started. Without Metropolis, we wouldn't have 2001: A Space Odyssey. We wouldn't have Star Wars. We wouldn't have Star Trek. On and on and on and on. But it's a fantastic movie. And I'm going to do everything I can to be here for it tomorrow night. This time I'll take my pain pills ahead of time, I promise. Because once I take the pain pills, my pain goes away. I can breathe better, so I have more of a voice, like you guys can hear me better. So, and I want to be able to participate because, like I said, that's a highlight of my week, is doing these streams. I really look forward to it. I consider you guys like my best friends. And, it's like getting together once a week and having fun and talking. It's a severe disappointment when I can't make it. And I don't want to just sit here tomorrow doing nothing. So when I'm done with my treatment, I'll rest up the best I can before the actual stream starts tomorrow at 6. So that's tomorrow night, Metropolis. Wednesday night, you'll find Gorillas, Random Thoughts, and myself, where we'll be covering 2 more episodes of the amazing Gilligan's Island. And then I will put up a poll later on in the week of which movie we'll be covering for the next horror sci-fi stream. And I know I've been saying this for a couple weeks now, but I really do mean to do another Rumblings from the Lab stream. It's just a matter of finding time when people are available. It'll probably be Friday or Saturday night. Sunday doesn't seem to work. A lot of people relaxing, spending time with their families, having barbecues and stuff. So if I do a Rumblings stream, it'll be Friday or Saturday night. But most importantly of all, I want to thank you guys for your patience, because I know I've been missing streams lately. So, and I'm hoping it won't happen again. So I want to thank you guys for spending your time and having the patience to come back, even with the delays and even with me sounding terrible.
You sound good, Pop.
I sound better now. Believe me, I was much worse earlier. That's why I'm glad I took that pain pill.
Well, the thing is, Pop, we all, those of us who are regulars on here, we all understand what you're facing and what you're going through, and what's going on in your life. And we, if you miss a stream occasionally, we're perfectly okay with that, right? Because we're adults, and you got to take care of your health, and we totally get that. So please don't feel bad if you miss the occasional stream. We totally understand, and we do care about you, and we want you to be well. So
Thank
I guess
you.
that's about all I can say before I get too mushy.
Well, here's what's crazy is that you guys all know what my issue is and what problem I have.
Right.
But the pain from which is cancer that I have is not. This is what's makes it so difficult. Is yes, I have pain from my cancer, but it is very, 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 very tiny compared to the pain that this bed I'm sleeping in is what's putting me in the most pain.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it's a worn out mattress. So like right now I feel better because I've been sitting in this chair here for a few hours. But if I sleep in that bed tomorrow, I have to struggle to get out of bed. It literally feels like I'm a punching bag, and people were punching me from all sides. Even my ribs are sore. I can't take a deep breath. I can't cough. I have to whisper because I just can't get my breath. And so I've got to fix that issue with the bed. That's something I've got to deal with because, like
actually,
I said,
Pop, yeah, I totally understand. I'm facing the same situation. I've been sleeping on my couch for about 6 weeks now because about 6 weeks ago, my bed is so bad. It's just it's dead, right? My bed is just dead. It's saggy. It's horrible. There's springs popping out of it. It's basically dangerous to sleep on the damn thing. And about 6 weeks ago, I woke up one day and I was in such agony. My whole side, it was like I tore something. I don't know what it was. But for like a week, I was in extreme pain. I don't know how I got through the work week. I just grit my teeth and I did it, but it was not fun.
yep.
And after that, I thought I'm never going to lie on that damn mattress again. And I've been sleeping on the couch, and my back has been really good since then, right?
Yeah, it's a wonder. It's a wonder everything a bed can do. It can change everything.
Oh, it can really mess you up.
Right. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do, and I did, my roommate, he saw me earlier, and he saw me. I was doubled over literally, and I could barely talk. And he said, "You look like you're in pain." And I said, "Well, honestly, that bed is killing me." I said, "It's worse and worse." Yeah, I said, because everybody, when they see me in pain, they think, "Oh, I know the cancer. I'm so sorry to hear about the cancer." It's not that. It's the damn bed that I'm in.
Yeah, bad mattress can really mess you up. Yeah.
Right. So my goal is, and unfortunately, it's a queen bed, so it's going to be more expensive. But my goal is to get rid of this mattress, and I'm going to buy one of those foam mattresses because those seem to be a little more firm and predictable. I know what to expect with one of those.
Yeah, I got to get something too. Trouble is, I don't know how I'm going to get this damn mattress out of here because
That's
it
how
is
this one is, right? The big
it's
queen, and
yeah,
I'm upstairs. And I'm upstairs. I have to go around, I don't know how many different corners. I
exactly.
wish I could just knock a hole out of the wall and throw it out.
I'm on the third floor of my apartment, and this thing is literally falling apart. It's that bad. Like if I took it out in the hall, there'd be pieces of it all down on the carpet, right?
I don't know
And
why people buy
it's a
these big
horror
heavy
show.
things.
I've
Yeah,
had it so
why?
long.
I don't know why one person who buys these things. I mean, the only way I would ever go out of my way to buy a queen bed or bigger is if I was sleeping with 4 or 5 people in the same bed, which I don't. I usually try to keep myself manageable. I've always slept on a twin bed and I've had no
Yeah,
problem.
I'd only buy it. I think I'd buy it like a twin. That's all I need, and that's probably the cheapest option from what
It
I've talked
is.
to the mattress shops. Right, I've talked to. So
It
yeah.
Well,
is.
I
Who
hope
needs a
you
big
can
old?
go in person to pick one, so you know that you like it.
Oh, you got to lie. I got to
Oh
lie
no,
down
it'll
on
be
it. Yeah.
Amazon. Unfortunately, that's how I got the last one. But I see. I bought a foam mattress when I was in California, and I bought it through Amazon. And it's one of those where you, as soon as you rip open the packaging, the whole thing explodes. But it was a great bed. I mean, the mattress was fine. I had no issues. It's just that I was not able to bring it here. I had to leave
Uh,
it behind, and I just knew when I got here this was going to happen.
shit.
So it's a matter of convincing the roommate, say, hey, please let me get rid of that mattress. Let me get something else up there because this is killing me. And like I said, I spoke to him a little bit about it today, so I'm making progress.
Good.
But anyway,
Good.
enough of that crazy crap. Jill, would you like to finish what you were telling us about
Oh yeah,
your
Jill.
channel or this
Please do
episode?
it.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't have much more to say about the episode. I enjoyed the alien and his staff and how he could, he could entrance living beings, transport matter, grow flowers, and I guess harness power from the weather, or maybe even control the weather. I think he was also saying he could do on his planet.
Yeah, I think they
So,
hinted at that.
so that's pretty fun. He's kind of like a bit like a godlike alien, but just with the technology, a bit like Trelane. And
Uh
and my daughter wants a story, and and I also like that the cages can adjust their temperatures and life support to fit the creature captured. But I gotta go read to my daughter, so I'm gonna go head out and go do
All
that.
right.
And
Okay.
so check out my channel, Antiderivative
Oh,
Jill. I'll be reviewing Star Trek: The Original Series tomorrow, The Gangsters of Triskelion.
yay! It sounds like you got a fan there.
Yeah, I do.
Have
I have.
Yeah.
She's my biggest fan, and I'll see you guys later.
have a
Bye.
Oh,
nice evening, Jill.
they,
Night.
they,
So
they get
also
still.
Master and Commander on Friday.
All right, Jill. I'll say hi tomorrow.
Oh gosh, Jill's always got that family thing
So,
going on.
right, and I'll second that, everybody. I highly recommend you check out Jill's channel. She's very smart, very fun, very funny, and very entertaining and very enlightening. So I definitely recommend it. She has her Star Trek, the original series stream on Tuesdays, which is tomorrow. And then she has the open topic on Fridays. Sometimes she'll do late night streaming with gaming and things like that. But I highly recommend it. You'll never be disappointed going to her streams. So next thing I'm going to do, and I'm sorry Jill wasn't around to see this, but I'm going to go ahead. And by the way, I had not forgotten. I'm going to show the results of the poll.
Ah, I think I voted in the poll earlier on, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and for those of you that voted, thank you. I appreciate your enthusiasm, and I think it helps YouTube. I'm not really sure. I don't really have thousands of viewers, so for me, clicks and algorithms, I don't focus on.
Yeah, well, I put a thumbs up on the YouTube channel there quite a while ago. Anyway, Pop. So every little bit helps, I guess.
Thank you. Well, yes, it does, and I appreciate it.
So we're gonna see a bit of next week's episode. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but I'm looking and I don't see the poll. Did you guys see the poll in the chat?
Well, I voted. I gave it an A. So I don't know. I actually don't see the poll. Come to think of it, now that you mention it, I don't see it here. Seems like it's disappeared for some reason.
I used to have problems before with the poll, or it would close itself, or it would just
Yeah,
disappear. And I'm looking now, I don't even see it.
I'm not seeing it
Ah,
either.
and I know I had the poll up there, but that's why I did. I set the stream up 2 days ahead of time to make sure everything was ready. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry, everybody. If you'd like, everyone, feel free to vote in the chat. Put in your comment whether you want to give it an A, B, C, or a D, or F, whatever you want.
all
And
I'm
I do
seeing is
apologize for the poll not being there. I don't know what's
I'm
going
just
on.
yeah, I'm just enjoying the panel, which is a bit late now.
Same here. Yeah, exactly. And I don't see the poll. And I know the poll was there.
It was there because I voted before I came on the stream tonight. Yeah. Good old
I'm
YouTube.
scrolling up and down and I don't see it. It's just
I don't
suddenly
see it.
gone.
Yeah, it's
Shame
gone.
on you. Yeah,
Good old
shame on
YouTube.
you, StreamYards or YouTube or whoever it is.
It'd be YouTube.
It does that every once in a while. It seems though. It does seem to disappear.
Well, it's a
Unfortunately.
pain in the butt. That's not fair.
Yes.
We're having a good time.
Agree.
And I enjoy it when everybody can share their opinions.
Yeah, it's nice if the chat could vote, but oh well.
Yeah, it's not there.
And the fact that
Yeah.
it's not even closed or ended the poll, it's just suddenly gone. It's like, come on. I wonder if it has
Yeah.
an expiration date on it or expiration time or something. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah,
though.
it was there. It was at the beginning of the stream. It was there. I did see
Oh,
it.
it was
That's why I
there.
was imagining things.
Well, I voted. I gave it the episode an A because I remember voting on the poll. I was actually the first one that voted because I was the only single vote at that point, like before 6 o'clock my time when we started. So yeah, I don't know. It's
Shame
weird
on
how
you,
it
YouTube.
disappears.
Yeah, YouTube, that's not cool. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get around that. Did you already read this, Gorilla? Daniel saying, is the episode over?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. And I know Jim says, puppies at play, 7 being made and being edited. And Mikey says, already over, duh, Daniel. And Jim says, lost in space, I give it a 9. Thank you
That's
for
a good
voting,
rating.
Jim. Thank you for voting, Jim. Unless it's on a scale of 1 to 100. I'm just kidding. And Jim says, I grew up with Lost in Space. Same here. When I got home, or when I got out of school, all I could think about was getting home, watching Gilligan's Island, Lost in Space, and Star Trek. And Mikey says, same here, but enjoy the color episodes much more. Right, which we will get to when we cover seasons 2 and 3. And Jim says, I've never seen the poll. So that means it disappears sometime during the stream.
Yeah, I would guess it probably must. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's nothing that nobody did out of maliciousness. So
I think it's just a glitch. That's what I'd guess. Pop, just
what
a
I'm
YouTube
going
thing.
to what I'm going to start doing is during the stream and throughout the stream, I'm going to keep checking on it to make sure it's still there. And I'm going to remind people at the very beginning, hey, everybody, there's a poll. Please vote. If the poll's not there, please let me know, and I'll post another one.
Well, yeah,
Start
I'd
doing it
say
like that.
if you watch the episode, just vote as early as possible, and that way you'll get your vote in, right? So.
Well, yeah, but that's why I tell people that they can also vote on our coverage of the episode. So that's why it's fine too if they want to wait till the end to vote. So,
okay.
Right, I don't want to rush anybody. But what I'll do is I'm going to start reminding people at the beginning, saying, hey, there's a poll. If the poll's not there, please let me know. And then I'm going to start keeping a closer eye on it, pretty much. Okay, so I think we were all caught up on chat. And I want to say once again, everybody, thank you for being here. I know everybody's busy and you have your own lives. And it really means a lot to me for you guys to spend time with me. And I really mean it when I say that it really makes me feel better. Today was not the best of days. I wasn't feeling the best earlier, but thanks to you guys, it improved 100%. And that's why I'm going to strive to do the rest of the week, our Metropolis tomorrow. You can join us. I recommend it, everybody. It's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it yet, then are you crazy? No, I'm just kidding. But I do recommend watching Metropolis if you have not seen it.
I've never seen it, so.
Jim says, night, everyone. I recommend it, Gorilla, but it's subtitled. Just so you know, Gorilla, it was made in 1926, so it was before they had sound. So it's subtitled. But it doesn't have subtitles over the movie. It has intertitles, what they used to call it. So what happened was they would say a few lines, and it would cut and show a black card with the titles on it, and then it would cut and show the actors talking again.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you got to read the subtitles all the way through the film, Gorilla. It's like the actors will do the scene, and then it'll cut to, as Pop said, like a title card with the text that you can read. So it's not like a traditional subtitled film, but it is a really great film.
Right.
It's a classic of cinema. It really
Well,
is
it
a
is.
must watch. It
And
really is.
especially if you're a sci-fi fan, it's an absolute must.
I think it's a
It's an
template
absolute
for.
must.
I think it's the template for sci-fi. Really, I really do.
It is. It is. I know it's not the first sci-fi movie. That was Trip to the Moon. But Trip to the Moon was only like, 8 to 10 minutes?
Yeah,
So
it's
this is
pretty
the
short.
first, right? This is the first full-length science fiction movie that was taken seriously.
It's the first feature sci-fi film. First
I'll
feature.
put it this way. The director, Fritz Lang,
Oh,
was a Jewish man living in Germany at the time. This is building up to World War II.
yeah. 1927, I believe, when the year the film was released.
Right. Adolf Hitler loved the movie so much. He told Fritz Lang, I'll make you an honorary German. That way you have nothing to worry about.
Wow.
Fritz Lang got on an airplane that night and left the country.
A very wise man.
Yes, very wise. And he went on to make more good movies like M. I'm going to cover M one of these nights on my stream
Oh,
with Peter
well,
Lorre.
He had a huge career in Hollywood, did he not, after this?
Yes, he did. He certainly did.
Yeah,
So-
he was a brilliant director. Yeah.
Absolutely. A very visual style. Very, like I was talking about with William Friedkin earlier, there's so many people that we're not going to replace. I don't see any good directors out there that are visually innovative at all anymore.
Not many.
It's just now it's all point and shoot. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me get this ready here. Now, what I'm going to do here, if you remember, everybody join us next Monday, where we're going to cover The Keeper Part 2 of our Lost in Space stream. And let me cover it. I'll show the preview really quick before we close this up. And I hope you all had a good time tonight.
Oh, it was great. It's always great, though, hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
And this was a great episode anyway, so, damn.
All right. I hope
No less than the insects which I crushed beneath my heel as I walk. Let's go! I'm gonna break your neck. Let me finish. You ought to give me the children.
If you want to take Will and Penny, you've got to fight us for them.